All right, bless up everybody.
That's it.
Yes, we're here. Everybody, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, however you're tuning into this, whenever you're tuning into this. We have another installment of testimonials for Herbal Results Protocol and Herbal Results products. And today we have a very, very serious story and a very dramatic story because it happened very quickly, a reversal around diabetes. There may be some other things that I know that the main thing was diabetes. So we have a young man on right now who I've been getting to know. But I met him a few months ago when I did a lecture on reversing different illnesses in Brooklyn and Queens in New York. And let's just get into the story. This is definitely not about me. It's about our good brother Ibrahim. So Ibrahim, how you doing, man?
Doing excellent, man. Doing beautiful here.
Excellent.
Oh,
Could you just tell people your full name, your age, and where you're located?
okay. Ibrahim Ayu, full name Orishe Wami, Ibrahim Ayu. I'm born in Nigeria, currently live in the Bronx. Um,
How
yeah,
old are you?
I'm
Oh,
43 years old. 43
okay.
years old. Gonna be 44 this year.
All
Um,
right. So it's the floor is yours, man.
yeah.
Let's talk about what's going. Let's just talk about your illness, the
Mhm.
illness you have, how long you've had it, your experience, what doctors have told you. Was there any success, no success, and then talk about how we met and what you started doing.
Okay. Well, if I give you the background on me, so in my family, there's not really a history of diabetes or any real illnesses. My family is I'm first generation American. My family's from Nigeria, so um, us coming to America was a big thing, and it's much different the way you live over there than you live over here. And so, the foods we eat is different. So diabetes and high blood pressure wasn't even something that I even had any experience with growing up. In fact, my mother was a nurse and my dad was a pharmacist. So, and my dad is in his mid 70s and is just as functional as me and you. You could hardly tell you he barely has great. Now he dies it, but he barely has really any sign that he's that old. That just comes from growing up on the other side. Um, but for me, growing up here, eventually about in 2011, I was diagnosed with diabetes. In fact, my sugar was 680.
Wow.
That's what I was told. I got
680?
680 sugar. I was diagnosed at John Hopkins Bayview in Baltimore because I was living in Baltimore at the time. And then, interestingly enough, that period was the period when I was doing because part of my story is also incarceration. So I actually was getting ready to do a bid, which is what I really believe led to that diagnosis. Because I was literally just pigging out, eating, drinking soda, 2 liter sodas whole at a time. You know what I mean? I was just going crazy, which is probably why my sugar was at 680. So I initially, back in April 2011, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. They told me because my sugar was 680 so high that it had to be type 1 diabetes. Now, if you know about type 1 diabetes, once they told me that, I started to investigate, what the heck is diabetes? I never had the experience with it. In 2011, I'm already, what? I'm 30. I'm basically going to my 30th year, and they're telling me I had type 1 diabetes all my life. Because if you have type 1 diabetes, it's called juvenile diabetes, meaning you had it from you were kids. So I've been this question like, how are you gonna tell me I had diabetes since I was a kid, and it just had a symptom when I was 30? So I
Right.
was already not really trusting what the doctor was saying about the diabetes, but I couldn't deny the fact that my sugars was getting high and the effects. So was that?
Before you go a little further,
Mm-hmm.
what type of symptoms were you having with that 680 sugar? What made you go
uh
get tested for diabetes?
Basically, I was so fatigued I couldn't move. Like I had a dog, I hadn't even walked a dog in like 2 days. I couldn't even get up to walk the dog. And really, for
Mm.
me, at that time, I was living in the hood of Baltimore. So getting up to walk the dog was let him outside, go do his thing, let him back in. So it wasn't like I had to really do any more exercise.
Right.
But I was just so weak. Like I've never been that weak in my life. And I had to like go to the bathroom 100 times.
You
It
talking about
was
urination, right?
urination, like straight
Mm-hmm.
urination. And then every time you go, you peeing for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And like where all this water coming from? It's like it was crazy. So I had those symptoms, but like I said, I had no experience with diabetes, so I didn't know what was going on. So eventually, by the grace of God, I lived. My house in Baltimore was actually across the street from John Hopkins. So I literally I picked. It took me like an hour to pick myself up off the ground because I was literally like laying on the floor for like 2 days because I couldn't move. My body was so fatigued.
A lot of people don't understand this. Like a lot of people don't really understand the reason why I'm listening to you and I'm kind of this happened to me.
Mm,
See,
mm,
I was also what they would call pre-diabetic in my 20s.
mm,
And it got really bad, and you're gonna really relate to this. I was working as an intern at a place called Trans Africa in Washington, D.C. This is when I
mm,
was in law school.
mm,
And in the morning, I would have like basic breakfast like everyone else. I would even eat donut, right?
mm.
And by the time I would reach the office, I'd say probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, I would be so exhausted. And the exhaustion is not a normal exhaustion.
Right.
Um, I literally would find there was like they had a third floor that they didn't do anything on. They had like office space, but they hadn't really built it out, didn't done anything. So
Mm-hmm.
it was under like they had desks and chairs and stuff. So I would go to the third floor and I would sleep under a desk. And I remember the janitor coming to clean up and was vacuuming. And I remember saying to myself, the janitor is about to find me at work sleeping under a desk. And as I hear the vacuum coming closer, my brother, I can't get up.
Mm,
I can't get up. I am
mm-hmm.
so exhausted. So you feel like something is holding you
Yes,
down.
exactly.
So for the
Like somebody's
listeners
on
who
top
don't,
of you, pressing you.
exactly. For the listeners who don't understand this, I'm trying to like really illustrate what happens when you're in that diabetic fatigue. You
Mm-hmm.
literally want to get up and you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You're so tired, you're so exhausted
Mm-hmm.
that the only thing that's comforting to you is to lay down and do nothing and try to go to sleep. But if you were like, for instance, it's so bad that if there was a fire going on in the house,
Not happening to
it'd
you.
be hard to get up. You'd have to exert extreme willpower just to pull yourself up to limp out of the room. And
Right.
that's how bad it gets when you get into diabetic fatigue. And so I just want the listeners to know how serious this diabetes thing is because what he's saying, I actually went through it in
Mm-hmm.
my 20s. But go
Mm-hmm.
ahead, bro.
Yeah, and this was actually in my 20s that time. I was 29 in April 2011. So yeah, I was 29. And like I said, it took me an out. I'm across the street from a hospital. Why did I need to go in the car? Because I knew I was not walking. I'm going across the street. You see what I'm saying? Like, so you understand the level of the fatigue. I'm an in shape guy. I'm not like I'm fat. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
in shape. I got normal strength, normal, in shapeness. Maybe a little belly, but I'm a normal guy who could not move. And I was in my 20s, 29, even younger. So I finally get to the hospital and they see my condition. They pretty much already knew, oh, okay, you might be in diabetic, some keto acidosis, whatever that is, call it. So I went to the emergency room. They took care of everything. They told me I had type 1 diabetes. They put me on metformin. They put me on insulin requirements for the rest of my life. Blah, blah, blah. I went through the whole depression of trying to acknowledge, but yet I don't acknowledge it because how are you going to tell me that I have type 1 juvenile diabetes that didn't come up until I was 30. That everything you're saying about this thing is not what's happening with me. So how can I believe y'all? So then I went through a period of not believing them and not taking the medicine, and then still having that fatigue, still having problems. Then going through a period of overtaking the medicine to where I'm now taking so much insulin. I went into a diabetic shock one time in front of my 3-year-old daughter, who thought, she asked her mama, did daddy die? I don't even know what happened. All I know is that I had checked my sugar. My sugar was, I think, like 79 or 80. And because of I didn't understand what insulin was, I thought, well, that doesn't matter. They tell me to take insulin every night. I took the insulin every night. So I took the insulin, and my sugar, as they told me when I woke up, was down to 32.
Mm.
So when my daughter said that daddy died, daddy pretty much did.
Right.
But if not for the fact that, my ex-wife was there, my wife at the time, who called the police, the ambulance and all that. That's what saved me from that.
And for the listeners, for you all to know, like so there's two types of measurements of blood sugar that go on. So there's short term and then there's long term. So short term is what he's talking about when you get numbers as high as what he's talking about, 600 something. And the normal range is usually between like 90 and 110. That's usually the normal range, something like that. But for him to say that it had dropped down to 30, basically he was suffering from what you call hypoglycemia.
Right.
Right. When it's too high, it's called hyperglycemia. So what happens is that people will take the insulin, which is too much insulin, and causing the blood sugar to drop too low. Mm-hmm. And this happens to a lot. And so what the medical system tells you to do is, if it drops too low, to eat a sugar cube.
Right. Which is so crazy, because to me, it was counterintuitive. Because when you tell somebody you have diabetes, the first thing they say, well, you can't drink that, you can't eat that, you can't drink that. But what they don't tell you is that it's more dangerous to be hypoglycemic than to be hyperglycemic. You can be hyperglycemic for years, but you can't be hypoglycemic for more than a few minutes, or you're out of here.
Right. And that
so
happens
we
to
actually are supposed to keep sugar on us.
Yep. And so what they don't tell you is that most of a lot of these diabetic deaths comes from people overdosing from their medications, right? So, and then also the side effects of the medications. But the thing that the listeners and the watchers need to know is, at no point was our brother Ibrahim told what's actually happening. It was never explained to him what diabetes really is, mm-hmm. and what insulin actually does as a transporter. So they just tell you to take these things, but there is no real articulation to patients and people suffering from a condition as to what the root cause of the problem actually is. Because if they explain to you what the root cause of the problem actually is, you'd have been able to solve the problem without them, and been able to solve it without any of these medications, which we're going to get into. Right? So please continue with the story.
Okay. So let's fast forward to like modern day. I got some receipts. You said in your lecture, I got receipts. So I'll get to how we met. So like I said earlier, I still frequent Nicholas Brooklyn. I'll be going there later on today. They're having an open mic night.
Mm-hmm. Tell people what Nicholas Brooklyn is.
Nicholas Brooklyn is the greatest spot in Brooklyn. I don't even work for them, but I might as well, because I love that spot. I'm a regular. Okay. I don't know how long, but I'm a regular. Any spot. If you're in DC, Sankofa, in the Baltimore, everyone's place. There's certain spots in each city for the conscious Black people, and Nicholas Brooklyn is that spot in New York City for me.
Right. Just to let people know who've never been there, like, what do they have there?
First off, they have the lectures. Like this brother's doing his lecture, but they have various. I saw Dr. Sebi's wife there. Mm-hmm. Rizza Islam has been there. King Simon and Lord Strayhorn with the numerology. They pretty much have a holistic group of people. Anybody in the holistic world comes through there to present. They have books, all the books that we read, from Secret Relations Between Blacks and Jews to Marcus Garvey writings to esoteric of all kinds, incense. I go there primarily for the incense, me personally.
Okay.
But I can't leave there without getting 1 or 2 books or 1 or 2 things. 1 or 2 incense cones. My Mama Confusion is there, gives me my crystals. Everything, you get everything you want there. They even got papers. You smoke, they got papers in the back. Like let somebody know that you need that. But it's everything there. It's a holistic place, and it's run black owned. It's a family business, and it's love. That's one thing about it. Whenever you go in there, it's love. Whether it's your first time or your 101st time.
Right. Okay, so you let people know. So for people to know, it's basically a cultural hub where
right on New York Avenue in Fulton, if you're familiar with Best Stop.
Yep, it's in Brooklyn, and it's been an institution for people. And like you said, many people come and they have all types of books, all types of arts and crafts for people, and also products there for people.
And they allow people to set up shop there.
Exactly.
So it's a network.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful place, and big up to Monique, you know?
Yes.
So you come to Nicholas, Brooklyn. So you've been basically dealing with insulin and metformin, because those are the 2 main things that they give people. And so for what? It was 10 years?
Yeah.
15 years?
2011.
Okay. So about 13 years.
Yeah.
So basically you've just been going in and out of taking their medication, dealing with ups and downs around it.
Basically. And so, like I said about the receipts, I just wanted to show, because I have my test results from NYC Hospital.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it.
Whenever you want me to get, I got it.
Yep, we're gonna get into it. So let's talk about, okay, so you're playing hopscotch with diabetes for about 10 years. Right?
And high blood pressure.
Oh, okay, and high blood pressure.
As I mentioned to you, that I got the diagnosis as I was going into incarceration. So when I was incarcerated, of course they did the diagnosis of diabetes, but then they hit me with a diagnosis of high blood pressure.
Got it.
And the reason they hit me with that diagnosis of high blood pressure is because when they tested me the day I went in, I had high blood pressure.
Right.
Now in my head, it's like, I'm coming to jail.
Right.
Yes, I'm a little nervous. I was going to feds. I wasn't going to regular jail. So come on. But then when I was on the outside, I've never had an abnormal blood pressure reading, ever.
Got it.
Only when I was incarcerated.
Did they put you on high blood pressure medication?
Lisinopril, amlodipine. See, I'm not even a doctor. How I know these words? Because I was on everything. And then when when you're in jail, it's like it comes in like a little roll, like a toilet paper roll of pills.
Okay.
Because they don't let you go out to your cell to go to the pharmacy, so they bring the pills to you.
Okay.
You know, and then you can do whatever with those pills. You know, some people get so crazy that they do a lot of stuff, snort the pills and everything. Right. But basically, they're giving me these pills every single day I'm incarcerated. Then when I leave, they give me 7-day supply. Then they hook me up with a doctor that's telling me, okay, you got to be, well, you was on this, so you're going to be on this. Or you feel like this, well, I'm going to give you, take that to 15. The metformin, 1,000 milligrams twice a day, which I found out is the most you can even take safely. You know, glipizide, 10 milligrams, simvastatin, atorvastatin. Okay,
so they had you on statin drugs as well.
Yes, reproglynide. I got them. I just don't feel like going and bringing all the piles of medicines because I haven't used them in months. But they still there. Okay. And that's what they was giving me. And I was on them faithfully.
Okay.
That's the point.
So how many different pharmaceuticals were you taking?
Let me shoot. I got the right.
If you want to bring them, you can bring them to show people. I can hit pause. Okay. You can bring them. Yeah, so I'm gonna hit pause for a second.
We get the evidence.
Yeah, get the evidence. All right, let's see the meds that they've had you on.
Okay. Culprit number 1 is, of course, you remember these, metformin, what they call it, metformin HCl, 1,000 milligrams. Take 1 tablet by mouth twice a day. I don't know if I can see it. Okay. Culprit number 2, Vascular insulin. They give me this is a 5-pack. Okay. And you see, I haven't opened the most recent one. Don't need it no more. But This is what they give you. They basically give you, it's easy. Like you can carry it along with you and inject yourself with as much depth as you want. Get a pen, has a certain amount of units, then they give you the pen needles, and then all that's in there is the insulin. And that clear liquid is the insulin in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to inject yourself with that.
20 units
every
night. And that's what I did the night that I got went down to 32, because I injected to the 20 units. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, and that made your blood sugar drop too low.
And like you were saying, if I had died that night, they would have attributed it to diabetes.
Exactly.
And not the fact that I overtook their medicine.
Right.
And would have everybody believing I died of diabetes.
Yep.
Glipizide, ER, 10 milligram tab. I don't know if you can see that. Glipizide. What else we got in here? Atorvastatin.
Okay.
Okay. Now the other ones I threw away, simvastatin and that, but those were the main ones. Those ones I just showed you: insulin, metformin, glipizide, atorvastatin. Is like the 4 horsemen. Like those are the ones I've been on since 2011, essentially.
Okay. And then you were also on lisinopril and amlodipine?
Yes.
Okay.
But I had cut those off since I left jail because I never believed that I had high blood pressure.
Got it.
But they fed me those lisinopril and amlodipine to death when I was in there.
Okay. Yeah, and I've talked about that with people, particularly the lisinopril. It causes acute renal failure. So over time, when people take those things, they find out that their kidneys no longer work. And then the medical establishment blames it on your high blood pressure, causing kidney failure, when it's actually the lisinopril that causes the kidney failure. And the documentation is there. So for those who are interested, on the website, you just go to, you're seeing this because you're on Herbal Results. But if you go to the Herbal Results website, to the section where it says science, you'll see the olive leaf extract science. You'll see a section there that says literally high blood pressure and diabetes medications cause acute renal failure. And that's a study by the American Heart Association, which I also point out in my lectures, but they never tell you these things. And it's really about 10% of people who take lisinopril get acute renal failure. That's a huge percentage, right? So if it's 1 million people, that's 100,000 people getting acute renal failure. Same for a lot of these diabetic medications, but we'll talk about all of that. But let's continue with the story. So you're taking all these medications and just trying to manage not being into an exhaustive state where you can't get up, and then also having too low of a blood pressure where you can't get up, right? Where you're in a coma. So those are the two extremes that you're dealing with, and you're trying to manage this. But they're just telling you, take the medication, take the medication, take the medication. But there's no real understanding of what's really happening, right? Which is the situation that most people, I'd say 99% of people are in when they go see their doctor. They just give in a list.
And I was asking the questions.
You were asking the questions. What was their response?
Their response normally would be like, if you don't let's just put it, if we was to preface and sum up all the doctors that I dealt with many doctors. I'm talking about so many hospitals, every hospital in New York City I'm in. I've been Harlem for this diabetes. Pretty much, if you don't listen to us, you're gonna die. That's what they said. That's their trump card. Basically, okay, well, okay, you don't believe you have high blood pressure, but you are 10 times likely as a black man to die of or if you are at risk of this happening if you don't listen to us. And then if you check yourself into the emergency room, okay, and you have a diabetic issue, and then they try to put you on EKG or put some other stuff on you, and you refuse their service, then they're allowed to just kick you out of the hospital. Not because you're being like offensive to them or being violent, but because you don't want to submit to what they're telling you to do in the hospital. They will then say, oh, well, you're going against medical advice, kick you out of the hospital with the same symptoms. So these same people that said that they took the HIPAA oath and all these different oaths, okay, if what happened to me is true, which I know it to be true, you know it to be true, then these people have been purposely lying, and they've been lying to me in my face, because they all told me. Okay, because another part of my story is that I actually have an amputation on my toe. They cut off the half of my right big toe because I had an ulcer on it,
and it wouldn't heal,
and it would, to quote unquote, wouldn't heal.
right.
But I got another ulcer on it that did heal after that, because when I was incarcerated, they had me without shoes, so I was walking, and it developed another ulcer. But then my godmother used oregano oil. Right. Wild oregano oil, she rubbed it on there, and it's been healed. I don't need it. Because they were going to cut off my foot last year.
Yep.
August 18th of 2023. No, excuse me. July 18th of 2023. They had me in Bellevue because I was incarcerated. They had me in Bellevue Hospital in the incarceration ward, telling me that they would let me know whether they were going to cut my foot off that day or the next day.
Wow.
Upon which I called my godmother. She told me, don't let them cut off nothing. Wait till you get over here. And thanks to her and me not listening to them, I still have a foot.
So what did you do? You waited until they released you from incarceration? You refused the surgery, and you waited till you got out. And then when you got out, you went to see your godmother, and then she did the oregano oil, which is a great antibiotic. It actually works better than amoxicillin or even penicillin.
Because I'm allergic to penicillin.
Right. So the natural remedy of the oregano oil worked once you got out and you saw your godmother. So you're starting to see things. And so, but you still have this.
Doesn't know my godmother. She's very well known in Brooklyn, Mama Flowers.
Okay.
That was who did it, Mama Flowers. And she even stated that wild oregano oil is what is called hyssop in the Bible. Okay. Which leads to some of its healing qualities. But that, I can show you. I don't know if you want to be that graphic. I can show you the ulcer and how it healed on my foot right now. Yeah, you can show it. Okay, I'm going to pull off my shirt. So you can see where they amputated. Hold on. You see where they amputated. Oh, hold on. Let me move it to the camera. Okay. Let's see forward. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Can you see the foot? Yep. Right there. And you see they cut the top part of my toe off, but it healed up. I don't know how much you can see. Yeah, I can see that part there. Yeah. But they were going to cut my whole foot off because of this, which is healing. It was bloody and all open wound before. Okay. Could you put the camera a little bit lower on the foot so we can see it a little bit better? Sorry. Sorry. I'm trying to hold up. All right. How about now? Mm-hmm. You see, they cut the top, and that was the ulcer they were going to cut my foot off for. This thing that was a little bigger than that, but that's after healing, which they said it would never heal. It would never look like that. It would continue to be open wound unless they cut my foot off, and it would spread. Got it. As you see, my foot is still here. I work out. I do whatever I want. Well, okay. I keep on permanent crutches or a prosthetic leg right now, listening to them. Right. Absolutely. Which is why I'm so motivated to do this testimony, because too many of our people are listening to them like they really mean us good. And after listening to your lecture, I'm thoroughly convinced that they're doing this on purpose. Right. So let's talk about that. So you're dealing with all these things, and then you attend the lecture. I think you came to the September lecture, right? No, it was October 27th. It was October? Okay, October you came 27th. To the October 20. So let's talk about you coming to the lecture. You said that when we spoke before the recording, you talked about your skepticisms. Yes. So walk us through you coming to the lecture, you being skeptical, and then the information that you got and what convinced you to try the Herbal Results protocol. Quite simply, my experience in the past with so-called healers is that they're willing to tell you anything. And so, because my experience was that a lot of people were willing to tell you anything, I just assume that people are just telling me what they want me to hear. I have a background in the law. I went to law school. So that also contributes to some of my skepticism, just in the fact that, I know I have an analytical mind that's been trained in a legal way. So I take things with a grain of salt. So when Mama Kafunya, though, told me to go there, it's something like, for spiritual people, we understand it like when you get a command and you know that that's a command, you just got to follow it. Like you'll know as a spiritual person when it's just a thought or when it's a command. And that sounded for us as a command, and then we see what happened afterwards. So it's verified that was a command. So I go to, and this was I'm in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. If you know about the city, New York City. So I'm in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I just came from a church in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. So I'm all the way in Brooklyn, deep in Brooklyn. She's like, man, you better get all the way out South Ozone Park Point, all the way to Semo Tap. I'm like, man, how am I gonna get all the way to Semo Tap? I had to figure it out. I ended up taking an Uber, paying a lot of money. But I got there, and I think the lecture was just getting started, so to speak. And I decided to sit in the front. And ironically enough, because I decided to sit in the front, and there were some issues with the sound, Brother Heru actually, not even knowing me, just asked me if I would hold the microphone to the laptop for the sound to, I guess, permeate the room. So that's what I did. And I was on my foot holding that microphone for almost like an hour and a half, it seemed like. But what I was telling the brother is that I felt like that caused me to pay more attention, because I'm sitting there literally holding the microphone, making sure that it's, the sound is coming out. And so I have to listen to the sound in order for to know if the sound's coming out. So I'm listening. And then I'm watching, as a skeptic, all these testimonials. And these testimonials look so unstaged, so not coordinated. And then, like I told you about the people from down south, the two testimonies from the people from down south. Well, I would believe whatever they say, because they just gonna tell it like it is. You know what I'm? Well, I spend a lot of time down south, so I already know.
Right, right. And so for the listeners, he's talking about the interview with Mitzi and Jimmy Smith out of Louisiana, where Jimmy Smith had stage 4 liver cancer and got reversal doing the cancer eradication protocol that we have. And so that's what he's referring to. And, you listen to them, if you have been around people from the South, you know what's what. So if you listen to them, you know exactly
they lying.
you know that they were keeping it 100% real. So, and that's what we have with all interviews. Just like people listening to you now, they're gonna know you're not, they're gonna know you're not no paid actor.
We don't cap. I ain't no paid actor. I don't even know this brother. I love this brother because he helped heal me. But that's what I'm telling y'all, I was a skeptic. Because anything that is skeptic, okay, what's the number one reason we're skeptics? We're skeptics not because we don't want the information. We're skeptics because we've been coming for this information so many times and been let down. And so we just expecting the next person to let us down. But as I'm listening to the testimonials, and then I'm listening to the lecture, and I'm listening to how he's presenting the information, and then the most powerful part of your presentation is that you're telling us where you got the information and showing us you can go there right now yourself, and telling us that you got the phone in your hand. That was probably the most impactful statement you made in that lecture. Was about the fact of us having the power to research. If you don't believe anything you're saying, go on the phone right now and look it up.
Right.
And when you stand like that, it ain't really nothing anybody can say to you, because if I'm going to refute you, I can do it easily. So if I can't refute you, then you got to be telling the truth.
Right, right. So that's one of the things, in the whole teaching thing, they call it like a pedagogical philosophy.
Right.
And I believe that if you're going to teach people, you have to show them. And it's not just giving people information for them to memorize it. It's about what is the methodology of how you got that information. So what I do is in my lectures, I have people do the research right along with me. So you just pull out your phone, we go to, Google, and we then go to, drugs.com, and you can start looking at the side effects of the medications. And the sad thing, the most tragic thing that happens in the world is we've got millions and millions of people taking medication, and they've never been educated on the side effects of the medications that they're taking. And I remember you sitting in the crowd, and this happens to everybody in the crowd. I remember when I showed metformin, the first listed side effect for metformin being death. And I remember, showing everyone how to do the research on the phone. Just put in metformin side effects and you see drugs.com, and then you will see the first listed side effect is death. So that means that if you're diabetic and your doctor told you to take metformin, they never told you that the first side effect is death. Now you start to question everything because you can see it on your phone. It's not my documents. It's not, it's not like my own
Exactly right.
personal
You got to see the
documents
book.
or yeah, it's actually, you get to see it on your phone. So that's why I like to do the lectures, because I want it to be as impactful as possible for people. And I know that a lot of people are selling wolf tickets to people and what some people call snake oil, and people are giving their opinions on what health should be. But I've been in a unique position over a decade of actually talking to people, because I have customers who tell me what works and what doesn't work, and matching it up with studies and what have you. So I've been doing this for some time. So when I was able to present the information, I actually saw your face when you saw the metformin. I literally remember because you were sitting in the front row,
Right.
and you actively had diabetes, and you seeing metformin. I could just imagine everything that's going in your head at the time.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sure.
tell you what's going on in my head at the time.
Yeah.
Those blasted Babylonian bastards had me on, brother. I went on this on metformin. I'm on metformin 1,000 milligrams.
Right.
1,000. So they got me on 1,000 milligrams of death. That's what you saw on my face.
Right.
These people knew. And if you know anything about my hip, man, I'm a revolutionary, man. I've been fighting police, man, on every side of this structure. So then I'm looking at it from that side. Okay, like it was almost as eye-opening for me as reading the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Right.
Was the lecture. I'm not even just bringing up it because it was the truth. It's deeper when, okay, now I'm coming to you after 10 years. Okay, this is, and I want you to understand this too. When you do kind of do that, that's what motivated you. But as somebody that's been healed, what you got to understand, April 2011 to October 2024, that's 13 and a half years.
And it would have continued if you didn't attend the lecture and you didn't know Kufunya, right? And for those who don't know, Kufunya is like, a beloved sister, elder
Yeah,
in the
Big
Brooklyn
Mama.
community. And she, she's helped so many people in so many ways. She's been in the arts movement, the healing movement. And so she's definitely a central source of information
Right.
and just all things good around healing. And if you didn't know her, you wouldn't have attended the lecture. And then if you don't attend the lecture, you're still taking these poisonous medications and you're dealing with the endless cycle of getting these side effects. And so, just for people who don't, I like to say I like to bring receipts. For the people who don't really understand the impact of what we're saying, I'm just going to share the screen with you. And this is exactly what I shared with the audience, in which this brother was one of the members of the audience. There's about 100 and something people in the room at the time, but this brother was in the front row, and he was helping me out because we were having some technical issues. So when I'm bringing this up, I'm able to see his face. And so what people need to understand is that this is drugs.com. I'm sharing this with you all right now. This is drugs.com. This is really the best site you want to go to find the side effects for your medications that your doctors have given you and have neglected to tell you what the side effects are. So when you scroll down, metformin side effects, when you scroll down, important warnings. This medicine can cause some serious health issues. And they tell you the different routes, right? That they can give it to you. Tablet, extended release solution, suspension, extended release. But the first listed side effect is death. And when I show this to people, they're completely shocked. They can't believe it. And of course, there's more listed side effects, but death is the first one that's listed. And it comes from lactic acidosis. And the thing is that why haven't doctors told people this? I mean, you're telling people to take a medication, and the first side effect listed is death. You would think that you'd want to tell people that, but they don't. And this is the whole problem that I have with the pharmaceutical, industrial, medical complexes is that it is full of these pitfalls of giving people a so-called remedy that is fraught with side effects that people have no idea about. So I spent 80% of my time talking to people and educating them about the side effects of the medications that they're taking. And 9 times out of 10, the sicknesses that they have are actually residual sicknesses that are coming from the side effects of the medication they're taking for their main illness. So an example of that would be like lisinopril. Someone has high blood pressure, they're given lisinopril. Then later on, they have kidney failure. Then they contact me and say, I have kidney failure. Then I'll say to them, are you on any medications? They'll say, yes. I say, is it high blood pressure medication? They'll say, yes. How did you know? And I'll say, well, I bet you it's lisinopril or amlodipine. And they say, it's lisinopril. How did you know? I said, because I've been doing this for some time, and lisinopril shows that 10% of the people who take it will get acute renal failure. And I'll show them on drugs.com where it has that. And people become shocked all of a sudden. So in your case here, you were able to see the information. So what was really good about you is that the information was enough for you to make a change. See, some people, they get information and they don't make a change, right? So for you, you saw the information and became very black and white to you. I don't want to die. They're giving me these things, and it's very clear it's not changing my health. It's not making me feel better. I'm stuck with this thing for the rest of my life. But if I have to take it for the rest of my life, it increases the odds of me suffering side effects, which could be death. So you process that very quickly because the next time I saw you, you came to me with the report. And it was from October 27th to the next lecture was December 14th.
Yes.
So that is a month and 2 weeks, right? So in 6 weeks, you've been suffering for 13 years
13 and a
with this
half years.
problem. Yes. So I come for another lecture a month and a half later. And so let's just talk about after the lecture, you go home. Let's just talk about some of what you did right when you got the information, because this is very important, because the information is just half the battle. It's actually doing what's necessary after the information. Because a lot of people, you can get the information too. They won't do anything. They won't move on it. But you moved on it. So let's talk about your process in your mind. Of course, you're angry at first, right? When you get this information. And then what else is going on with you?
Well, kind of akin to what you're saying. I mean, when I studied under the gods and the earth, that's what they talked about. You got the knowledge, but when you get the wisdom is an application of the knowledge to lead to the understanding. So that's essentially the process I took. I got the knowledge that from you, not only the knowledge of what was going on, but the knowledge of how to even find it out. So the first thing I did actually was I actually put on my phone app. Drugs.com is an app. So I put that app on my phone because I said, hold up. They don't just got me on no metformin. They got me on glipizide. Everybody going in drugs.com. And that was the first thing I did. I put everybody in drugs.com, and I didn't like nobody's results. Okay, glipizide, what they was worse. And then I'll also tell you this, because I didn't bring that medication out, because they also have diagnosed me with some mental health issues. And they give me medication for that. That goes along with it. So I've been on a lot of medications. And the problem with the medications, or at least with my understanding of the medication, I was the same kind of fatigue. It was a lower form of fatigue. It wasn't as heavy, but I still saw myself walking slower than people. When you're walking in New York City, I'm walking slower. I have less energy to get up out of bed. Right. When I go to the bathroom, I'm struggling to urinate in certain cases. So I'm looking at the drugs.com side effects, and all these things that I'm talking about, the low fatigue, the painful, the urination, is side effects of the medications. So I'm sitting there
Absolutely.
like, huh? So now we even getting more mad. I'm like, hold up. Everybody going to
Absolutely.
track.
And just to give people receipts, um, what people don't realize is that you're taking these medications and you got all these other things going on.
Right.
And
Like
we
I had
have,
difficult urination. I
yep,
had
look
the
at
muscle
that.
pain. I had the
Sleepiness.
sleepiness, the general feeling discomfort, the diarrhea. I had everything. That was blowing my mind even more when I got home.
Right. These are the common side effects, and there's other side effects as well. I mean, it's a whole long list
Right.
of these side effects, but the thing is that people aren't aware of it, and they're not made aware of it. You could have found this out 13 years ago,
Right.
and all of the money that's been spent, all of the pain, all of the discomfort, all of the struggling you went through could have been resolved within really 2 weeks, right?
I didn't
So,
have to get an amputated toe.
right,
Number one,
right.
that was the biggest thing they took from me is my freaking toe.
Yep.
I mean, for what? Because they don't know what they're doing, so they tell me, "Oh, we're gonna cut it off so it doesn't spread."
Right.
Get
But
another
you
ulcer.
at least you were lucky enough to be wise enough to get your whole foot amputated. Because that's what they're gonna do,
That's what
right?
they
They're
wanted to
gonna,
do
yep, they want to
last year.
amputate your foot. So you finish the lecture, you start doing some due diligence, you start doing your own research, you start looking at all these other medications and you see the side effects, and you're like, damn, that's me.
Right.
Okay. So then what's the next step? What did you do?
Everybody going in. Okay, not in the trash because you medication, but everybody going in the shelf. I went into my fridge. All the insulin coming out. All my pills coming out. Nobody. I'm not done dealing with none of y'all. And that's what I did from that, and then I had before I left. Even as skeptical as I was, I bought. What did I buy? Where is it? Right here. I bought. Yes, this is what I bought. No. Well, now I bought both of them, but this is the one I bought first, the Super Strength.
Right. The olive leaf extract. So that's the herbal results olive leaf extract.
At the end of the lecture, I bought this. Yes, this is your olive extra, and I followed the directions because it says 1 capful for every quarter cup, 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, night. Easy tolerance between half cup to capful. I said no, I'm going all in. I don't want no half cupful. We putting the whole cap in it. So then I just did it that slowly. Started drinking it. It was very bitter. Didn't taste good. But almost immediately, like just taking it, it was something going on. It was like an energy in my body, and I'm not even capping about this. It was just like something was I could feel in my body something going on. Go to sleep, right? Now people aren't gonna understand. I didn't even tell you this. I wake up, and for the first time in my life since I was a baby, I had completely uh gone number two in the bed. In my bed, in my sleep. And I wake up and I'm like, what is that smell? I don't even know what happened. Go to the bathroom, I look down, I done just going everywhere. And I'm like, what? But it was like, I really, because I remember when you said that you showed the people having the parasite you see. So I was looking for that. And I saw, I didn't know what to look for really. But I was like, this has never happened to me. What the heck? But from that day forward, it was a whole new story. Like I started to want to drink the super strength, no matter how bitter it was. Even to this day, I might need to make another run. I'm almost through it. It's like, and for the people that are also diabetic who've been watching what they talk about as it relates to Ozempic, and they talk about how Ozempic, because I was also on Ozempic.
Okay.
They talk about how Ozempic has psychological qualities to it, which also leads to the weight loss. And the CNN doctor, Sanjay Gupta, was exploring the psychological side. I think the psychological side of your olive leaf extract should be talked about too, because I've had moringa bitters, I've had all these different things that taste the same way, but I've never been drawn to them. it was something about this, what you have, that would make me want to drink it. I don't care about the taste. I need it. It was like energy juice. I felt like if I drank that, I would get energy. I started working out, going to the gym religiously. And then not only am I in the gym religiously, I'm in the gym overdoing it. I'm in the gym doing like combination weight moves and all. I'm doing this on the treadmill with a weight. I'm doing, and I have been not working out for years. That's another part of diabetes. They say control it with diet and exercise. I didn't have a good diet and I wasn't exercising. But upon taking this, it was almost like my body wanted to exercise. After that incident where I went number 2, the last time I had diarrhea. Mm-hmm. I haven't had diarrhea since. And diarrhea used to be a very common thing. And you see the side effects of the drug. So what happened essentially was I eradicated the use of all the drugs. I focused on drinking your olive leaf extract. And then continuing to drink the olive leaf extract made me want to drink more. To the point where I ran out within like 2 weeks. And I was going back to Mama Gafunia like, hey, y'all got any more of that? Any more? Where is that? We ain't got it yet. It's coming. Like, nah, I need that. And she'll tell you. If you ask her and Monique will tell you. I was coming there like almost every time I came up there, like, what's up? Where is it? I need that. And they were like, what? Oh, what's going on? And I don't know. It's just something about that thing. Mm-hmm. And then about a month later, I just got the inspiration because, like I said, I'm being led on the spiritual path. So I got the inclination, let me test my sugar. Because I see there was something on TV, something that made me to test my sugar. I had not tested my sugar. I had not used insulin. I had not used metformin. None of that. First time I take my sugar, I got the result, the receipt right here. I'm not playing with nobody. First time I take my sugar in a month. Okay, let's go right here to photos. Because when I saw this, I said people would not believe this. They're not gonna believe this at all. Okay, so let's see, where is favorites? Okay, my bad. Trying to find.
So in the meantime, while you try to do that, I know that Ozempic is a big thing for people, and a lot of people taking it, but they don't tell you about the side effects of Ozempic because it is also prescribed to people with diabetes. Because really, you have a metabolic disorder when you have diabetes and high blood pressure. But I just want to share with people and it's just insulin resistance, which I've explained in many other videos. But I just want people to see the side effects of Ozempic because I know your doctors haven't told you. So here we go. Serious side effects. Ozempic side effects. So you have the common side effects of nausea, diarrhea, abdominal pain, bloating. But then let's look at their serious side effects. Hypoglycemia, especially when combined with insulin, right? So they had you taking insulin and Ozempic.
Right.
And metformin, but one of the things is that when it's combined, you can get hypoglycemia, which is the problem that led you into the hospital where you almost died. Okay?
Right.
Gallstones, tachycardia, problems with the heart, pancreatitis, but look at this, kidney damage. But look at what they say at the line below. Additionally, animal studies suggest Ozempic has the potential to cause thyroid cancer. How many people have been told that?
Not me.
And you got millions of people taking this particular drug to lose weight, not knowing that they're putting themselves at risk for kidney failure, pancreatitis, and thyroid. So let's go over what you got right there.
You see the date?
All right, hold on.
I don't know if we should say November. Hold up. November 28, 2004, 24. You can see that. It might be a little blurry, but that was it.
92.
I couldn't believe it so much. I had a video. I had to take it. Look, that's my hand right there. I said, what? Me, 92, after a month.
Of no medication, just the olive leaf extract, huh?
Yep.
And
No
also,
medication,
did you
no.
make some? Did you make some of the dietary changes to stay away from sugar and?
I wanted to emphasize that too. Absolutely not. As you see right there, what you see right there. You say you used to eat donut? That was my regular breakfast. But that's why I talk about the psychological effects. I went from eating a whole lot of donuts to maybe one donut a day.
Okay.
And not even one donut, one of these mini donuts.
Okay.
So it had a psychological effect. The more I drank it, the less I ate meat. I would go I used to be a voracious carnivore. And as an African, goat meat, whatever meat you got, we got. I started to see myself eat the whole meal and leave the meat on the side.
Okay.
So I made dietary changes not voluntarily.
Okay.
It was as a result of taking the olive leaf extract. It actually, because my body was now high functioning. At least it's almost like I felt like I had been injected with premium oil, premium 93 gas. That is the best way to describe it. Especially combined with the non-taking of the BS medications they was giving me.
Right.
That had kept me feeling fatigued, kept me feeling like I'm going slower than everybody, not having a gumption to walk out of bed, consistent diarrhea, consistent vomiting. I used to vomit like once every 2 weeks.
Wow.
I haven't vomited since I started taking this thing. Since October 27th, I have not. And they should be very common to the point where they wanted to give me a colonoscopy. To the point where they wanted me to keep all the, I let them vaccinate me.
Wow.
The first time. They want to do a second time, they're not getting back in here. And now I'm not even going back into the hospital. And that's what I wanted to show too. My doctor's over here taking credit. Like he's the reason. On my doctor from Kings County Hospital here in Brooklyn. Okay, he's like, oh, you're doing so great. You know, I'll show you the message. And I also wanted to show you one other thing. But look, he said, send me something that said, you can see that's my doctor, Dr. Leo. Okay. And he's talking all this about diabetes. I say, well, what's my A1C now? Here's Dr. Leo. I don't know if you can read it, but
it was hard to see it.
Okay, I'll read it for you. He said it's 6.4. Goal for you is less than 7.0. So this is a great A1C. You're doing excellent with your diabetes.
What was your highest A1C?
I'm gonna show you. I got the receipts. Let's go. Here is the chart. Okay. My A1C over time. This one is December 14th, which ironically enough was the day that you came back. I got tested that morning. If you remember what I remember, yeah. I got tested literally that morning before you came back, and that was the result. This button, you see it? This down here. Now look at the data. Look at the numbers. Back this earliest going up.
Okay, so it was as high as 13.
Yeah, as recently as last year.
Yeah, August 24th, it was 13. That is so here's what people need to realize. When you talk about A1C, that's your long-term blood sugar numbers, and the healthy level. Well, they say the non-diabetic level is anything at 5.7 or below, and pre-diabetic is about 5.7 to about 6.5. And so anything above 6.5 now becomes diabetic. And did he say he just wanted to get you under 7, right?
Right.
And so basically he wanted to get you under the diabetic zone to pre-diabetic. So the thing is that your numbers were literally double the numbers for someone being declared diabetic. People don't understand how serious that is. 6.5 or higher is diabetic. The brother had a 13. That was
just the
double.
highest. I was regularly 12.1, December 15th, 2022. March 2nd, 23, 9.1. August 24th, 23, 13.4. January 4th, 24, 10.4. December 14th, 2024, 6.4.
Right.
How does it go down? Who caused that much of a change, Dr. Leo? Because when I was listening to you, I'm at 13.4. Under your care, Dr. Leo, I'm at 10.4. After years of listening to you, this is how I'm getting loud because that's how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these numbers. This is death. They trying to kill me and not even let me know. It's crazy.
So when you saw your numbers go down that morning, and really you basically just started taking the olive leaf for about 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
I had run out. I
Right.
didn't get more until that day when you came back.
Right. So your doctor's trying to take credit for it, unbeknownst to that Dr. Leo. Dr. Leo doesn't realize you're not even taking any of the medication
None of
that
his
he
stuff.
prescribed.
His stuff is still in the box.
Right.
As you see, I opened it here. His stuff is still in the box. Okay? Can't tell me nothing, Dr. Leo.
So
But who else is Dr. Leo talking to?
Yeah, exactly. Do you plan to tell him about what you did?
No, I really want him to take credit. Because that all the information came from his system. So I want his system to verify your system. That's
Got it. So you don't want to offend him so that you're not able to get the testing.
Right. I want him to go he's like, hey, come to. He was like, oh my God, A1C is great. I mean, you're just doing everything we tell you to do. You're just doing a wonderful job. You know? And I'm sitting there like, you dirty bastard.
Right. Now here's the thing though. You can get tested for your A1C without that doctor. It's a very simple test. The other side of it too is sometimes it is good to inform them what you're actually doing because they're seeing thousands of people. And if you do find one good doctor, they may show the intellectual curiosity, say, hey, this is what maybe I might recommend to my patients. The problem is there's no money in it for them to do that. So, I mean, it's a coin flip as to what you want to do. Because I have many of these cancer patients. They don't tell any of their doctors that they're doing my protocol. And then the tumors go away and the doctors are actually shocked. Their shock really indicates that they didn't think that anything that they were going to give you was going to work in the first place.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And your doctor is not seeing those results with other patients. So I know that he was surprised to actually see it because he ain't seen that happen with you in the last how many years? All of a sudden it happened. You would think that they would want to show some intellectual curiosity, but they don't because it's just basically every person represents a paycheck for them. And so it's just, let me just get my money from you and whatever your results are. They don't really care. They don't, because if they cared, they would show intellectual curiosity to say, what did you do different? Because that's dramatic to go from 13 to 6.4. What did you do that was different than you've been doing all this time I've been with you? They're not even asking that.
Yeah. But see, the difference is, but I believe, and the reason I haven't told them just yet, because I will inform them, but the reason I say that I want him to take the credit is because I guess it's deeper than that because I feel so hurt. It goes deeper than just proving them wrong. I mean, y'all were trying to kill me essentially by prescribing me metformin. You almost killed me when you told me you could take this insulin. Okay. And then, funny enough, on Christmas, I go to visit my parents, my mother who's been suffering from a stroke and all kind of stuff. And I'm showing her my numbers and Ma, take this. I even bought one of those. I bought it for her.
With the olive leaf extract?
Yeah. Ma, take it in there. This is what helped me. Look, I did 20 push-ups right in front of her. Hey, Ma, look, I'm doing nothing I never did before. No, I got my medication. I need my doctor. I need my medication. I can't stop. I can't stop.
And the thing is, they keep getting worse, but they keep
she's getting worse.
Doctors. Right.
I'm watching her getting worse. And then I'm saying, that's what was happening to me. I was getting worse under the doctor.
Right.
Under the pills. You know what I'm saying? So, and to be honest with you, if I was to go to them and say, hey, there's this black guy who gave me an olive leaf extract that cured me and all your metformin was some BS, they're not even going to believe me anyway.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I saw a picture of you and this guy cured me. Yeah, right.
Right, but here's the thing, though.
You get what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. Here's what's different. You're not just saying it. You actually have receipts.
Yes.
You have your numbers. You have your charts. So this is not even like conjecture. It's not, oh, I
Right.
feel better. The
Right.
numbers, you can't, the numbers are the numbers. The
Right.
numbers are numbers. I'm gonna tell you this. If we can cut out the sugar, the donuts and stuff you've been eating, you'll be under 5.7.
That's the
Easy.
next part of where I need to go as far as diet is concerned. But even that, like I said about the psychological aspects, the more I drink that, the less I go to donuts.
Right.
If you get what I'm saying, like
But
my mindset around everything is changing.
but let me tell you what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of people think that their mind is controlled by them, but they don't realize when it comes to food, most of people's mind is controlled by parasites.
Mm.
And what happens is those parasites, they feed off of sugar. And those parasites want to be fed. And so what they do is that they create a situation where you start craving sugar. You start craving donuts, rice, sugar, candy, because they want to be fed. They've taken over and hijacked your thought mechanisms around food.
Mm.
So what happens is that the olive leaf extract eradicates intestinal parasites. See, so when you use that bathroom, when you use the bathroom on yourself after taking it, a lot of people, when they take it, they will have a diarrhea response, but it's a cleansing response.
Mm-hmm.
It's cleansing
That's what
all
it
of
felt
these.
like. That's
Yes.
exactly what it felt like that day too.
Yep. And what'll happen though, and what people notice now, I always tell people this, is that when you take the olive leaf extract, you'll notice that, particularly if you've never ever taken it before, when you use the bathroom, which people call number two, when you defecate, it's going to smell really bad. It smells really bad because what happens is that those are dead parasites in your stool.
Mm.
And that dead those dead parasites in the fecal matter cause it to smell even worse. So what happens now is that once you clear your body from those intestinal parasites that have been making you want to eat that food that's hurting you but helping them, you start losing appetite for those types of foods because those parasites have been eliminated from your body.
Mm.
So why your dietary preferences have changed and you not wanting to eat donuts as much, you might eat six, now you just want to eat one, is because of the fact that those things that are calling for that sugar are actually being eliminated from your body. Your story is a story that happens just about everyone I know. Say, I don't have the same appetite anymore. Most of the people take the olive leaf extract, they lose 10 pounds within the first month
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, first of all, I have more energy, I'm sleeping better, and
Right.
those foods, I no longer want to eat those foods.
Right.
And part of it too is that the bitter taste. So when you see parasites, they love sugar, they love sweets. The opposite of that is bitter. So they hate bitter. Well, the less that you can tolerate bitter is the more the parasites dominate you. So when someone says, I can't take your olive leaf extract, that lets me know. They say it's too bitter, I just can't take it. That lets me now the next thing I ask them is that do you have a sweet tooth? And they'll say, yeah, I love sugar. And what it is it's an inverse correlation.
Right.
So the more
Right.
you can't drink it, the more messed up you are with parasites because the parasites hate it and they're dictating your taste and
Mm.
preferences.
So then how would you explain me wanting to drink it then after knowing it's bitter?
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to tell you. The first time you drank it, you didn't want it because it was so bitter,
Mm-hmm.
but you pushed through.
Mm-hmm.
The more tolerance that you have for bitter taste, the healthier you are in terms of your sugar addiction. You see, what happens is that the more a person can tolerate bitter, the less they are addicted to sugar. And the less that they can tolerate it, they're addicted to sugar. So your body is calling for sweet, but it's not your body, it's the parasites calling for sweets. But the bitter is the antidote to it. So now your body has gotten to a point where you're getting rid of all of these parasites. So now your whole microbiome is a whole different microbiome that is
Mm-hmm.
not hijacked by parasites. So
Mm-hmm.
now you're embracing the bitter and not embracing the sugar as much. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the point of the matter is that the more you take it, the more you're going to actually desire it because of the fact that one is making you feel better. And your brain is now associated with, when I take this, I feel better. When I take this, I get more energy. When I take this,
Right.
you
Right.
get what I'm saying? So
100%.
now, so what's happening is now you're actually even becoming an athlete
Yeah.
because you're exercising more, you're doing these things. You're actually getting your 20-year-old body back. You're getting your 20-year-old self back. What we don't realize is, and you coming from Niger, in Ghana, and all these places, when the old people, when they have a serious meeting, like when they have to have a serious village meeting, you know what they
Look at
do
the
before
cola
the
nut.
meeting? Cola nut.
Yep.
You have to eat cola nut
Guys,
before it starts.
what kind of useless meeting do you have with no cola nut? What kind of useless meeting?
Exactly. A useless meeting without cola. But cola nut is some of the most bitter thing that you can take.
Right.
So what's happening is that these old people, and you see them, they're healthier than a lot of us.
Hmm.
They're eating this bitter cola and it's giving them a parasite cleanse every time that they're eating it because
Mm.
parasites love sweets and they hate bitter. The bitter clears them out from your body. And they give young people worm medicine all the time in Africa and the Caribbean to clear out worms. But when we get older, they stop doing the deworming. And so, what the olive leaf extract does, it continues the deworming and it's ridding your body. So that's what happened to you that night. You had all these things inside of your microbiome and in your gut that's just festering, that's causing a vicious cycle. And these medications that they're giving you were not addressing the parasites that you have that are calling for sugar. You see, once you understand insulin resistance, you understand diabetes, uh, you also understand high blood pressure. All of this is coming from the fact that the insulin is being overloaded in the body, is being drawn out of the body too much in terms of being activated by the presence of sugar, which is causing inflammation. Now, when you stop adding sugar to your body stops making insulin. Your body makes insulin so that it can move the glucose from the blood to the cell for energy. But your body can also live off of healthy fats. So what you want to do is you want to reprogram your body to live off of healthy fats. That even in the fruit vegetable world, that's avocados, those types of things. So coconut oil, those types of things. So when you reprogram your body to those types of foods that do not cause inflammation and do not have sugar and glucose part of it, your body starts to heal itself. And that's what's happening with
Mm.
you. And you're getting rid of all those parasites. Now you feel like a whole different person. And if this would have been explained to you in terms of what insulin actually does as a transporter of glucose, but your body doesn't need that. That's why if they tell you type 1 or type 2, it only matters if you have sugar that needs to be moved from the blood to the cell for energy. But if you don't put sugar
That's
in your body, you
matter.
don't need that insulin.
Which is why they went, because almost like 5 or 6 years in, they changed to type 2.
Yeah.
After me continuously bringing up, how can you tell me I have juvenile diabetes that does not come up till I'm 30? I'm not a juvenile at 30.
Right.
And then finally one day I was like, you're right. I'll make you type 2. But it would have been so easy for you to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You see how quick that was? Just, okay, now you're type 2. You
So
see what I'm
that's what
saying?
led to the skepticism. So the skepticism towards you was actually toward the industry that you was bringing down through your lecture, which
Right.
also served to make you more credible to me, because it was like, this is what I've been saying this. These people are just making it up as they go along.
Right. Absolutely. And you saw it. And nobody knows better than someone who's healed themselves of the problem. So every time I talk to people with reversals, I let them know, my brother, you actually are now a world expert in reversing diabetes.
Mm.
Like, don't take that lightly.
Right. No.
Because
I'm
you
really
have the greatest evidence, than any doctor. You lived with this for 13 years. You can talk about diabetes from a very intimate place. A lot of them can't.
got an amputation to go. I'm with
Yep.
everybody. I got an amputation just like the rest of us.
Yep.
Now the
Like,
big
you can
money,
talk
if
about
they
it.
wanted to take my whole foot, they were gonna take my foot if
They
I
were
didn't
going to
call
take
my
it.
godmother. And I've been
Yeah.
walking around with no foot right now when I could have just took an olive leaf extract for 6 weeks. Are you
Exactly.
kidding me?
Exactly. And here's the funny thing. You just tested your A1C that morning of the 14th. Your problem might have been cleared up way before that because you were starting to feel better. If you'd have took it maybe 3 weeks in, you might have still gotten the 92 blood reading. You see what I'm saying? So you don't even know the
I don't even know
exact date.
when, because I wasn't testing it before, I wasn't testing it after. But the point, like you said about me knowing it intimately, I know what it did. And there's
Yes.
people who are who see me like, man, your face has been shining. Like just the compliments. It's you looking good. You doing like it's deeper than even the physical.
Right.
Because now as another part I wanted to go into, because as I began to take more olive leaf extract, there was certain kind of music I didn't want to listen to anymore. That's why I'm going into more the psychological, the spiritual aspects. It wasn't just I don't want to hit the donuts. I don't want to hear the drill music. I don't want to hear the curse word rap. I want now more midnight. I created a whole playlist of nothing but midnight or midnight type songs. Right. And I only listen to that now. Right. I don't listen to anything else.
Yep, roots reggae music. It will heal. It will heal. It will heal you.
Not even dancehall. As much as I love dancehall, not even dancehall right now.
Yo, roots reggae music. Roots reggae music will heal you. I try to tell people that as well. It's very healing for the soul because it doesn't have that negativity. And it's a music that's eternally fresh. You can, I always tell people ask me like, I'm feeling down, what should I do? I tell them, okay, if you're feeling down, what I want you to do is go to a place in your house where you're by yourself and put on some Bob Marley music.
That's it.
Sit there for an hour and then tell me how you feel afterwards.
How you feel afterwards, exactly.
Yep. And it always works. It always works, man. And they have a thing called sound therapy, but the point of the matter is it's a holistic way of living once you understand these things. And the crazy thing, my brother, is so many millions of people are suffering like how you suffered with this diabetes thing, but they're not told the key. They're not told the key, and the solution is actually a very easy solution. And the fact that this solution is not known to people worldwide is a problem because people are suffering unnecessarily, and that's why I do what I do. And I go to give these lectures wherever I'm asked to do it because I know what it's like to suffer from some type of illness. Remember, I had pre-diabetes, but I never had a A1C of 13. But I know what it feels like to be paralyzed with fatigue because your blood sugar is too high. I know it.
That's it. And now imagine living, because part of that with a 13.4 A1C means I was consistently at 300, consistently at 480, consistently at 350.
Consistently.
92. I took pictures of 92 because I couldn't believe it. Me, the person taking the test, could not believe I had a 92. At the end of the day, not like it was in the morning fasting.
Right.
That was I wouldn't even wrote the time down. It was taken. I did that at 10 o'clock at night after a full day of working and eating with no insulin, no metformin, no glipizide, no statin drugs, no lipizide. I didn't even show you my blood pressure. Because I went to my blood pressure. I said, hold up. I got the blood pressure machine and everything in here. Right after I got that, okay, we went to the blood pressure. Blood pressure is most normal it's ever been. If I can find it quickly. Right here.
Do you know what your highest blood pressure has been?
In jail, it was up to 180.
Oh, the top number was up to 180.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you got 131/95.
And that's the highest it's been. This is the highest number.
Okay.
Before it was 123, 124. I was getting a lot of spiritual numbers. It seemed like, yeah. Here we go. Right here. Here's another one. 123.84.
Right.
123. My birthday's August the 4th.
Yeah. And that's a great blood pressure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With none of Dr. Leo's drugs.
Right. So you've proven it. You've proven it. Like you've proven it, the steps that I told the audience to take, and you actually just did it and you stuck with it. And a month and a half later, you've got the blood sugar of a 20-year-old athlete. You've got the blood pressure of a 25-year-old healthy man. You know what I'm saying? And how old are you now?
43.
Right. So you've got the numbers of a healthy person 20 years younger than you. So basically, you're at your those numbers are at your peak numbers in terms of health. Um, 92, 123 over 80, 84. I mean, those numbers are,
Pulse 92.
yeah, pulse. So what I'm saying is like we know that these things work. We know the approach. The point is just getting the word out there for people to understand that this is not like a joke. This is not wolf tickets. I'm not. And here's the funny thing is that you've paid these doctors for the last 13 years.
I know where you're going because I paid them.
Right.
I paid them even with my intention. I paid them in terms of what they told me in co-pays. I paid them in terms of listening to them when I could have been listening to other people. It's deeper. Then you go into incarceration where they force you to be on medication.
Right.
And how many brothers did I meet in there who will tell you today they got diabetes as a result of too much soup? Half the commissary is nothing but sugar.
Right.
Okay, so they just literally forcing us into diabetes. And then giving us their drugs to keep us there, give us renal failure, to go into their DaVita dialysis.
Exactly. Exactly. It just lines you up to be customers for other drugs. That's all it is.
It's a business of death.
It is. It absolutely
deception.
is. And you've seen it and you've lived it.
I lived it.
Right.
From the side of the victim. And then they went and they put me in jail. I mean, Dr. Leo's a nice guy. You know, he appears to be very nice and in my conversation with him. But people like that, if he knows what's really going on, they're the ones that should be in jail. Because my mother and myself and others that are struggling and got 100 medications. Think about all the people we know that got 100 medications on the counter that don't realize they can stop taking every last one of them today and be even better. Like, I got better before I got used to drinking the bitter tea because it was the stopping of the other stuff and the resumption. Oh, I can pee regularly. Oh, when I take a stool, it's like back when I was younger. Like it's not all, you know. I'm clear. Like even my rectal channel feels so clear. Like it's like I was studying like Kundalini and all the stuff around that. Besides, like my entire body feels cleansed. And then I'm taking this stuff, man. I went to go visit my parents. Went out of town to DC. I couldn't even leave the house without it. It was my phone and the Olive Leaf Extra. That was the level I've gotten with it because to put it the most plain I can do it is almost like I called it earlier, like a super juice. It's like you drink it and my body has said, why I drink it, this is how I operate at high efficiency. I operate at high efficiency when I drink it. If I was to eat a donut, oh, you better believe right behind that donut, I'm killing them parasites. Yeah, y'all got y'all filled. Take this though.
Right.
So I started getting into that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and doing it so that's how I ran out. So when I came back on December 14th, I literally bought 2 of each to make sure I didn't run out. And I got your website. And I got your number. Look, this is but this is why I want to share with you because it's deeper than this. Even thanking you for putting this together. It's how do we help you? How do I as somebody? I can't sit back and have reversed my diet. Do you know what it means to reverse your diabetes? That's worth more than $1 billion to a diabetic. Reverse your cancer to somebody on chemo is worth more than $1 billion. Reverse your high blood pressure, whether they have a heart attack or a stroke. My mother had a stroke and my ex-wife had a stroke. That is not fun. Okay? So that's what builds the anger, but the anger, I want to turn it into action in terms of, like you said, the marketing of this. And like I said, I got the numbers, man. There's no doctor in the world that can come tell me that I didn't have 13.4.
Right.
That was it. See, it's not even that it comes from because the pictures I showed you were my tests. But those charts were King County charts. Kings County got to come and verify their own charts. And in verifying their chart is verifying that their whole system is fraudulent. because I got the lowest A1C when I stopped taking everything that the doctor told me to take.
Real talk.
That was when I got from 13 to that's half. That means that the medications was boosting it up. They had to be, because then why was it so high? And they were supposed to be lowering. That was the point of me taking them, to lower my A1C.
Right.
But when I stopped taking them is when I lowered it, which means that they were actually increasing. And if you understand that science, and then you understand the science of what you saw, how they beat that boy in the New York jail, Robert Brooks, to death. And then you start thinking about all this stuff surrounding Trump getting back in office and everything. These people treat our health as a business. And we relying on them. And they don't want us to see this because we don't need none of their drugs. All their drug companies go to zero income with this, which is why they're going to want to stop this at all points of sunrise, but it don't matter. This got to get out there. And it's not even it's about bigging up one brand. We're talking about what this represents. This represents that a man who wasn't even trained in the doctoral profession of this country could produce something that cures, reverses diabetes and cancer and high blood pressure, then that means I could do it too. That means the lady out there could do it too. That
Absolutely.
means that somebody out there could do it too. It's not just the guy with the white coat.
Right. That's very important.
That's so important because we only listen to the white coat. Right. When we realize the white coat is in business to keep us going to the white coat, whereas you're in business to get us well because it makes you feel better because you're a regular guy.
Yeah.
And it probably makes you feel good to have, hey, a brother like that look like you, that reverses diabetes, that went through the same thing you did. Man, this is life right here, bro. Ain't no money worth more than that, but this is $1 billion concoction. Because, and then like here's the thing. What happens when they start catching on? And now they want to come and buy it. Now they want to come in. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I've been approached. I've been approached for people wanting to buy my company. I've been approached. You know, I've been approached.
They want to hide. They want to hide your secret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, because they don't want the illness problem solved. They want it managed so that they keep you as a customer for life. Yeah. They don't want to really solve the problem, and I've talked about that extensively. You know, and it's important for people to realize this. You need to understand
behind, not one you to the money behind it.
Yeah.
The entire pharmaceutical industry does not want you to succeed with it. The entire pharmaceutical industry.
The entire. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So that's why I take the time to do what I do. That's why I take the time to, you're going to meet very few owners of a company who follow up with their customers and get to know their customers and record testimonials, because I know that there has to be levels of evidence. And if I just came out talking without having testimonials, someone like you wouldn't have believed what I was saying, right?
And until you see, bought it.
Yeah. Until you actually see real people coming with real results and real conversations, it's not going to be taken seriously, because the pharmaceutical medical industrial complex has such a stranglehold on people's minds when it comes to health, that we think that they are the solution when they actually are not the solution, because this isn't hypothetical. You lived it for 13 years.
They have no results.
They have no results.
And we listen to them still with no results.
No results. In fact,
if you look at my numbers, I was following them to 13% A1C. Yeah. I was following their advice to 10, 9.1. Right. I was following them. I follow you, I'm at 6.4. And all you say simply is, they're trying to kill you over there. Take this. That's pretty much all you said. Break down your whole presentation. They've been trying to kill you. Metformin side effect, death, which everybody at every lecture that I heard you say, and it's all the automatic question. Death cannot be a side effect. If a chemical effect is death, it's called a poison.
Right. A deadly poison.
That's it.
Yeah.
Once it causes death, it's a poison. It's no longer nothing else. It's a poison.
Right.
So they give us this met poison. It's not normal metformin, met poison.
Right.
1,000 milligrams twice a day, y'all give me, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to smack every doctor alive. But the point of the matter is getting it, but then even if you get the word out, like I got the word out to my mother, but the white coat got such a stranglehold on her mind.
Right.
That
So the best thing you can do for people who are skeptical, I think just send them to the testimonials page and let them hit play on the videos of people who got high blood pressure and it was resolved. I mean, I have doctors who were my customers, right? Who had high blood pressure, no longer have it because instead of taking lisinopril, they take the olive leaf extract. I have doctors who've had cancer, stage 4 cancer. Anyone go to testimonials page, you'll see Dr. Kenneth Nave, stage 4 cancer reversed using the olive leaf extract in our protocol. So my job is just to get the information out there. The job of the person who's sick is to just have an open mind to actually just press play. It doesn't cost anyone anything to press play. I don't even charge people to talk to me. People want to email me, talk to me. I talk to people for free, and then I just show them the way to heal themselves. So like in your case, right? You know more than just take 3 capfuls of the olive leaf per day. You know how to research drugs.com. You know metformin side effects. You know the side effects of all your medication. You're literally more educated in reversing diabetes than Dr. Leo, your doctor. The reason is because for yourself, you were able to get better results than he was able to get for you.
Facts. Big facts.
And this is just reality.
It's the reality. You say it's just we just saw the numbers.
Right.
You can't say them to those numbers. That's
right.
it. That's what the numbers say.
I mean, so like, yeah, you got the information from me, but Dr. Leo got his information from someone else in terms of what he's supposed to do. But the problem is that the information that he's getting is very restricted to a drug model that doesn't work. See, but that's what, when he sees diabetes in front of him, in his computer, in his mind is diabetes, insulin, metformin. That's the only thing that they can think of because that's how they've been trained and programmed. They don't know anything about olive leaf extract. They don't know anything about real diet. They don't really understand even the role of insulin and what it does in terms of inflammation and moving glucose. They might understand some basic things, but they don't really understand the core of it. And the reason why you know it is that their results reflect their lack of understanding.
Right.
You put your health in their hands and your A1C went to 13.4. This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Now you put your health into your own hands just with my coaching. Basically, all I did was just coach you.
Right.
You did the rest. I said, look here for side effects. Look here for this. Do this. You did it. And then you just tested it. Basically, you gave me 30 days to do an experiment. That's what you did. Now I ask everyone, if you don't believe what I'm saying, just do what I'm saying for 30 days and then check your numbers. This is with cancer. This is with high blood pressure. This is diabetes, autoimmune illness. Just do what I'm saying for 30 days and let's see the numbers. And when you look at the numbers, you compare it to what your doctor has done for you for 3 years or 30 years, and you'll find out that in that 30 days, you've had a life-changing experience. But not only that, you actually are more of an expert on this disease than any doctor who's gone to medical school for 4 years, who's actually wasted their time because they cannot get the results that you can get. Because let's just say you have a family member with diabetes, that person goes to Dr. Leo or that person goes to you. Guess who's going to get better results? You're going to get better results for them than Dr. Leo, which makes you more of an expert because expertise has to be judged by results.
Facts.
Not diplomas, not things behind your name, because all of that doesn't matter when someone's sick. A sick person, you want to stop being fatigued, you want to stop urinating all the time, you want to stop having sores on, your extremities. You want these things resolved. You don't care who does it, you just want it resolved. But we've been trained that the only people who can do it are people called doctors who went to allopathic medical school. But then when we start investigating them, we see that they don't even have any results. What they're good at is emergency medicine. That's what they're good at. Patch you up. You got a bone break, do a little surgery on your bones. You got hit by a car. They're good for that. But in terms of long-term health, they're completely incompetent. And this is where we've gotten to. This is where the numbers say it.
Right.
The numbers say it. If you came to me for help and I said, take olive leaf extract, and you did it for 13 years and your A1C was a 13.4,
Right.
blood sugar 600. And then you went to see Dr. Leo, and within 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, Dr. Leo's recommendations gets you down to a 6 and gets you down to a 92 in terms of short-term blood sugar. Then you would have to say Dr. Leo is an expert and he gets better results than me. But we have to also be clear that when the tables are turned, we have to understand that, hey, this is what's working. And this has to be where we're placing our trust because these numbers are very clear. So what I'm saying to you, my brother, is that you're going to become a resource for everyone you come in contact with for diabetes. And right now, where you're at in Bronx, every single doctor in the Bronx is inferior to you when it comes to understanding diabetes. Because you, through your own steps within 5 to 6 weeks, has reversed your own diabetes better than any doctor could have done for you because you gave them all chances from Johns Hopkins to wherever they are in New York and this and that. And
Every
you gave
last
them all
Harlem
a chance.
hospital, Kings County, Wyckoff, every hospital in the New York City system. Yeah, jail system, doctors. You know, everybody. It's a network. And then when you don't follow their instructions, like if you're in an emergency room for that got a car accident, and you say, look, I don't believe in taking insulin or whatever you're telling me to take. I'd rather take another route to cure my, oh, you don't want to do our way? You're going against medical advice. Please leave. So then what's your recourse? That's what they do to homeless people. Okay, in the hospital system. I know about that story because part of my incarceration also led to my homelessness. So going back and forth into these hospitals, and if you look in New York City right now, you see how many people are homeless on the street, and then you see their legs. And I noticed this because of my former history of it, but I can see it as almost so clear as day. So many of them, and you look at their legs. Their legs are indicative that they have nonstop diabetes. It's like advanced stage diabetes. And they've been to the same hospitals.
Right.
They've been to the hospitals. Why? Because they need to sleep. So they go right to the hospital. What's supposed to cure them. But they put them on more drugs and they have less resources to heal themselves. So now they're just on the street, literally just dying in front of us, but also under the care of doctors at the same time.
This is real. This is real, my brother. We can go on for this for days,
Oh, yes,
I'm gonna have you back on in a couple months to do an update.
Yes.
But for the people listening, let's just go over your numbers, because that's what it boils down to. We can talk about so many things, but the things that are incontrovertible are the numbers.
Right.
Your highest A1C was what? 13.4.
13.4.
Okay. Your highest short-term blood sugar in your life was what? You said 680?
Yes.
Okay. And then
I was regularly, consistently for years at 300, 400 when I tested.
Okay.
Consistently.
Right. And they give you insulin, they give you metformin, they give you the insulin, your blood sugar drops too low that you almost die from hypoglycemia shock, right? And they still give you the same medications, even though you went through that. They give you a bunch of other medications along with it. You come to the lecture just a few weeks ago in October, late October, and from October to December, late October, pretty much November to December, you start taking olive leaf extract and being mindful of what's really happening with you. You discontinue all medications. And then let's get your numbers again. Your short-term blood sugar was what, 90 what?
92.
92. And then your A1C, according to Kings County, went down to a 6.4. Where your doctor, Dr. Leo, what's his name? Dr. Leo what?
Dr. Leo Eisenstein.
Right. Dr. Leo Eisenstein congratulates you because his goal was to get you under 7.
Here's my comprehensive metabolic panel test from the December 14th that I saw after the 6 weeks. You can look at all the numbers that he tested. Everything normal.
Mm-hmm.
Now they did have my short-term sugar went to 220 that day, but I literally had just ate a donut. Literally. I just ate a donut because I was called sick from Kings County waiting for them. But look, everything is normal. What are you talking about, sir? He's like, oh, you're doing a great job. Off your medications, completely off everything that's supposed to be regulating all this stuff, but I'm still normal and I haven't taken your medication. So, but you told me that I needed your medications to get to normal. That's all I'm saying about these numbers.
Yep. And this
It
is
shows
real.
that what they was telling me was a lie by the numbers.
This
The
is
question is,
real,
why was
y'all.
lying?
I hope y'all listening and watching are paying attention to this. You know, like it doesn't get any more real than this because we're talking about numbers. You know, it's one thing to say someone says they feel better. When we start actually breaking it down to the numbers, and a person can show you the numbers, like they can show you there's a tumor that was 10 centimeters, and then, you
Right.
know, a month later, the tumor has gone away. These are very important reports. And our job is just to give people the numbers and then people can choose whatever they want to do. But what I'm saying is that at Herbal Results, the way that we keep score is with the numbers. And we've been getting these types of numbers day in and day out. And you're just one of the people that is getting these numbers, which shows that if you just do this, just about everyone can get the same results. You can just get the same results because it's just basic science and understanding what insulin is, what sugar is, what it does to your body, how it causes inflammation, how it causes all these deleterious effects. And olive leaf extract reverses inflammation. It causes insulin sensitivity, which reverses insulin resistance. And it's actually a very simple understanding. And once you understand that and you stop, and what you know is your weakness in your diet is the donuts. So like you already know that. You see, so like if you don't know that, then you just keep doing it.
Right.
But you know it, so it's like you can start cutting it down. You knew that that day your blood sugar rose because you ate a donut right before.
Right.
But it's just like this is basic science, and when people understand it, and it can be done without their toxic medication.
But then
So,
I get
and
home, my sugar's back to 110. After
right,
that, 20. I got a little sugar. I said, hold up, I'm gonna go to 220. I go. So I don't even know how you can. It's so deep when you really. I call it get the deep meaning of this, and that's what people really need to sit with. Like, if it's possible for you, brother, and everything they say about the black man, everything they say about us, and everything they say about our community, for you to basically heal ourselves. If we can heal ourselves on a medical, just through investigation and research, there's so many other levels of people activity. You want to talk about the so-called black race. But the first thing we got to do is, and that's what's so crucial about your presentation, and I big up your presentation for doing it, because it's not just about you selling your product. In fact, to be honest with you, you really did not even sell your product. To me, what you did was you sold the fallacy of the consistent medical environment so well that when I threw away their medication, that was the most powerful thing that I could do. More than even buy yours, because I could buy it and add it to the medication and see what it would have did. I didn't try that, but I could have did that. But it was the effect of also seeing the effect of putting them down, and how even before the olive leaf kicked in, certain symptoms were eradicated just by not taking their stuff and realizing that they're giving us poison when the white coat is telling us he knows what he's doing. You feel me? That's what's so important. That's why I big up your presentation. I say keep it going, and whatever I can do to keep it going, it's out here in Brooklyn.
right. So, you know, one of the best things that you've done is to agree to a testimonial because tens of thousands of people are going to see this. People go to the website from all over the world and they just want to hear that what's being said is true, you know, because so many people put things out there that aren't true. So people don't know what to believe. And so we're doing what you call a preponderance of the evidence.
Right.
So, as many people who have these types of reversals, I try to record them and put them on the website so that people can learn because anybody who's diabetic could watch this whole interview and they would have learned a lot to be able to save their life and the life of their families. And that's what matters to me the most. And so the thing is that when you came to the lecture, I didn't know you were coming to the second time to give your information, your result. And I was just like this type of thing that I'm involved in, when I get testimonials from like brothers like you and sisters and other people, um, you can't pay me enough. You can't pay me enough to see somebody who's figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like on real terms.
Right.
It's not just a mental understanding, it's also a physical manifestation of being in a new body. Because when you're sick, you're trapped in your body. And if you don't understand what's going on, you put your health into the hands of people who really don't care about you, who
Give
are
me
just
that.
selling drugs, and we don't criticize them based on results. We just accept them based on they're the doctor, they know best, they've been trained for this, I don't know anything. And that's one of the things that I try to do. And I think one of the most profound things that happened, particularly with you, is, and many people like you who kind of understand what's going on, is that, but you see, but you already had an intellectual background when you go to law school, is that you were not scared to do the research yourself and say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, only doctors can understand this. You actually took it upon yourself to put some intellectual pressure on your health situation so that you could actually start reading this yourself and see, because that is the most important thing, because you'll never, ever, ever be given medication again without doing that. You'll never
Right.
be given a medication without looking at the side effects again. So now you have a methodology to
Right.
understand what's
It's
going
an app
on.
on my phone now that didn't
Yeah,
have before. So anything you
exactly.
give me, like anything, even if it's like something like a terpene in what I'm smoking or whatever, I can look. It's the power of research that, like you said, with having an intellectual background gives you, but anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. And I think one of the most profound things that you said in this whole interview is that seeing my background, yes, I have a background in science. Yes, I have a background in law, but I don't present myself as I present myself as just an average everyday brother. And that's how I feel. And the fact that it
That you
allows
figured it
people,
out.
yeah, that if I can figure out, you can figure it out. And
Yeah.
that's the key. I just want people to be empowered to know that you have the power in your own intellectual capacity to solve your own health problems, and don't feel like it needs to be outsourced to someone called a
Mm-hmm.
doctor, which has a very bad track record in reversing the major illnesses of our day, which is heart disease, diabetes, and cancer and autoimmune illnesses.
Mm.
And if you really check a lot of these doctors, I say 80% of them are sick themselves and they're on medication.
Right.
So they haven't solved the problem for themselves. So how are they going to solve it for you?
Think about nurses. You expand that to nurses, pharmacists, because I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in that world too of seeing. And it's funny. My mother didn't have her stroke until 2016. And before that, she was on no medication. Active, up and down. Da, 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 da. You have your stroke, now they convince you need 100 medications to keep living. And now I'm seeing her moving slower and getting slower and worse when you was an active 60-year-old.
Yep. And the whole thing is that she has to solve for one thing, which is high blood pressure. That's what caused her stroke. And the high blood pressure is coming from inflammation of the arterial walls. And there's a two-step process. You stop eating foods that cause that inflammation, and you take herbs that reverse it. That's it. And if your mother was to do that, then she would be able to get off all those medications. But it's just about getting to a point where she feels comfortable accepting the information. But she's not going to take it from you because you're her son,
Mm-hmm.
and what they say is they say that familiarity breeds contempt. You know what
Yep,
I'm saying? So it's
exactly.
like, why should I listen to you? You're my son. I saw you, when you couldn't even walk. So how,
Right.
you're not a doctor. So they're gonna listen to the doctors. And I come from an African family too,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what it is. We've
Yeah.
been trained to accept so-called the experts, regardless of their results. Like I think every couple years, all experts need to be called to the carpet, and we have to evaluate and do an audit of their results to see if they still should have that expert badge. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like there needs to be a whole tribunal on the medical system and their results. But we can see it because they tell you that cancer is going to increase in the next 10, 15 years by double. They tell you
Mm-hmm.
that heart disease is going to get worse. So they're letting you know that they have a bad track record in the first place.
I was wondering, thinking of the knowing that we both come back from a law background, is there a prima facie case against the industry?
I
Because
think there
based on
is.
what they know.
I think that there is. I think that there's a the makings of a class action lawsuit.
Right.
I've been
Everybody
busy.
had diabetes.
Yeah, I think there's a making for. I think that there's a lot of evidence for a class action lawsuit around the lack of informed consent
Right.
of patients in violation of the Geneva Convention. That you need to have informed consent before you put anybody through a medical procedure or medical intervention. And I don't think that people are being adequately informed of the medications that they're taking and the deleterious effects on their health. Evidenced by the fact that just take something as metformin, you were never informed that one of the
Yes.
side effects is death. That might
Everybody
have
that
changed
has
your mind.
diabetes should know that because
Yes,
that's the number one diabetes drug, hands down, even
yes,
more than insulin.
yes. And the first listed side
Literally.
effect is death. So the fact that people aren't informed of this, I believe, is a violation of the Geneva Convention and
Just
human
right.
rights. And I think that there would be a lawsuit that could be done. I mean, it might be something that I've told a couple lawyers about it. I stopped practicing law some years ago. I might rehabilitate my law license to start looking at that because it needs to stop. It's not even the windfall that I would get from it, but it needs to stop. Every single person that I deal with, everyone, not one person that I've talked to over the last decade of doing this knew the side effects of the medication that they were taking. Not one person.
13
And,
years I'm taking a medication.
and the thing is,
13 years.
but here's what's crazy. This is how powerful the system is. They got someone like you who don't even like them. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like politically in your worldview is you're not even down with these people,
Not at all. Not for a
right?
second.
You're skeptical of them to already start with.
See the
You're
red, black, and
already,
green? That's
yeah,
how we
red,
roll over
black,
here.
and green. You already skeptical of them. You already are involved in intellectual pursuits by the fact that you were going to law school and all this. You know how to do research and all that. But even you got entangled in it. And even you didn't go ahead and look at the side effects of your medication because it never struck you to do it.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that if they can get you, imagine who else they can get who's completely gullible and pro the system. So that's how powerful it is that they've got someone like you who's actually just a skeptic about everything.
Right.
But they had you taking their medication.
Faithfully.
Faithfully. That's how crazy this is. But what happens is that fear. This is the power of fear because when you go to them, they instill fear.
That's
If you
it.
don't do this, you're going to die. And so
Right.
what fear does is it takes all the judgment away from you. That's how people got to take these jabs and not even look at Pfizer's record or even look at some of the reports on vaccine injury. They just took it because they were scared. And so
they told all of us with diabetes and high blood pressure that we were the ones who were guaranteed to die.
Exactly.
That's what that was told to me. That
exactly.
If COVID hits you and you got diabetes, high blood pressure, and then they said, well, you got both or you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason I took that crazy vaccine, which I would never take it under any situation besides.
But this is the point. The point is they had someone as strong-willed as you acquiesce to their measures because they were able to instill fear. Right. And this is the point is that if they can instill fear into people, it takes away all of your skepticism or even your independent thinking skills because you're scared. When you're scared, you never make the best decisions. You never make the best decisions under fear, and they already know that. So what they do is they push fear on you, and then you now have a willing participant.
It's like the parasites.
Yeah.
They create the environment for them to win.
Exactly. Yep. The environment is created for them to actually thrive. And so when the fear environment is there, it also creates the environment for mind control and to control populations. And that's what happened. We all saw it during the pandemic. Every judgment that people made was based on fear and not based on logic. And when you can do that to a population, you now have a complicit population that is complicit in their own genocide, in their own death. As long as you can put in fear, it suspends all rational thought. And that's what I'm saying. This is what's so, like, I didn't even think this was going to come out of the conversation we're going to have, but someone as strong-willed and strong-minded as you who don't even mess with these people, you were cajoled and threatened and coerced to take their medication, even though over time you saw it wasn't working for you, but you were still taking it because they scared you. But at least you were still this person who was still resistant to them to some degree because you didn't allow them to cut off your foot. Most people would allow that to happen,
Yeah.
so you still were able to fight back to a degree. You
But
took
that
their
was my
medication.
godmother, because really I was going along with what they said. That's why I give the credit to her, because it was like she said,
Right,
don't
you were
let
gonna
them
let them cut your foot. Yeah, you were
because
gonna let them.
first of all, I'm in jail. Number two, it was a bleeding open wound. They're not giving me shoes in jail because they that's how they treat us. So they see me walking around, and I was in so much pain. I didn't care. Like, they take it off. Do what you're gonna do.
Right.
She was like, don't let them do nothing. But what if she didn't pick up the phone?
Exactly. What if you didn't come to Kafunya and ask her about this lecture and she didn't tell you about the lecture? You'd have been in the same situation. And so many people are not as fortunate as you to have these influences and to have access to this information. You know what I'm saying? So our job is just, man, just direct people to the information, and if they want to go with it, they go with it. But all we can do is provide it to people.
Right.
And like what I'm saying, man, is that what you're going to realize in the next year or two is you're going to be a real advocate for people, because I can already see your energy. And I can see you probably have a lot of people who are drawn to you because you have this type of personality. You're going to be a huge influence to a lot of people, man. And all I would say to you is start getting ready to be a resource for other people in terms of telling your story, man, because at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want to say, but you have the receipts, you have the numbers, and nothing speaks louder than these numbers that you got. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to be a whole new world for you, man. There's a lot of people who are my old customers who are now my friends who've now become advisors for people in reversing cancer because they themselves have reversed their cancer through the olive leaf extract and parasite cleanse and all of that, the eradication protocol. So I have people right now who have reversed their prostate cancer, and they're basically in their town the main knowledge source for reversing prostate cancer and telling
Mm.
other people this is how you do it. And it's
Mm.
only going to be that that's going to turn this around, because we're on our own. It's Kuji Chagalia all day. It's
Facts.
self-determination all day. We're on our
Yeah,
own.
big time. But then
We're,
I think that shoe actually needs to drop for Black people, because it's a lot of places, but a lot of, like you said, like the medical profession is one place that they are probably the most successful. Either that and religion are
right.
probably their two most wonderful success stories
Right.
in
In
my
terms of controlling the minds of the
right.
people. But you see, in this case, though, you've got receipts.
That part.
You see, you got receipts, and that's so powerful, man. You are walking evidence of, one, the fraud of the system, two, the inefficacy of the system, the ignorance of the system, the non the ability the lack of the ability of the system to recalibrate its methodology based on new information,
Mm-hmm.
and also showing that it's basically a drug cartel, and the doctors are the doughboys on the street pushing nickel bags. That's really what it is. The
That's
pharmaceutical is the
really what
Mexican
it
cartel.
is.
The pharmaceutical industry is the Mexican cartel, the South American cartel providing the drugs, and the drug pushers are the doctors. So this is what's happening. And the pharmacy is just basically, the place where you're gonna pick up where the drugs, under,
Yeah,
you know,
that's the building in New Jack City. Where the
exactly,
building they pick it up.
exactly. That's the trap house. That's the trap house. Or, as they
You're right.
under the
This
day,
is
or under
true.
the day, that's the little garbage can under the garbage can where you find the thing that you go pay your guy and he tells you where it is. It's under the garbage can down the street over there. You understand what I'm saying?
At the
That's the
pharmacy down the
pharmaceutical.
block.
Yeah, that's the pharmaceutical. But the plug of all plugs is the places like Pfizer,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Moderna, all these places pushing these
El
pharmaceuticals on
Chapo.
us. Yeah,
El
that's El Chapo. That's El Chapo for you. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't realize that we're just the off takers of El Chapo's product. And when people start
Wow.
looking at that way, then you
That was
start
powerful
realizing,
too. When you saw that Pfizer is a straight up and down criminal,
yes,
and they got the largest contract for the jab.
yep. habitual offender for bribing doctors, uh, suppressing
They got,
adverse trial results, and false advertising.
if we knew that, how many people that took the Pfizer jab knew that?
They didn't know. That's what I'm saying is there's no informed consent. So this is actually a human rights violation. So we got a lot of work to do, man.
Man,
And inadvertently, you've actually become somebody that is going to be really a partner in a life journey in the sense of, look, there's a lot of lives to be saved. And there's a lot of people talking, but you not only have receipts, you have a life experience. And I'm telling you, man, if you can cultivate this, you could actually become one of the experts in diabetes in reversing. I mean, we have a big problem with that in Africa.
yes.
You know, imagine if people put you on stage for you to just talk about your experience. You know how many people you would convince? Because it's clear you ain't no actor. It's clear that you ain't, you understand what I'm saying? You keep it real. And you're able to show people this. Do you know how many people you're actually more convincing than me? Like people think that I'm the expert, but you actually are more convincing than me because you did it for yourself and you have
Yeah.
the numbers for yourself.
Yeah.
I can give the reference in the studies, but nothing is better evidence than a person who has solved their own problem.
And I had a 13.4. So it's even deeper than the numbers for me because I know what it feels like. See, that fatigue that you experience is every day
Yes.
with a 13.4.
Yes,
You
that's
feel me? So
crazy.
imagine that kind of a life where that's
Yeah.
a part of your normal. That's what that 13.4 really meant when you go into the deep meaning of it. It meant I can't get out of bed. It takes me an hour to get dressed to go to work. I'm still going, but I go to work, I'm moving slower than everybody else.
Right.
Or even if I kept a job, maybe to keep a job, because maybe now I can't move fast, I can't keep a job, now I'm fired. I can't tell them I got diabetes, that's why I'm moving slow. They don't want to
Right.
hear that.
Right. And it becomes a vicious cycle. You can't
Right.
keep a job. Now you don't have the money, but they want you to pay money to go see the doctors who aren't solving your problem and then pay the pharmaceutical companies and not solving your problem. But now you get less money because everything they're giving you that you paid for is making you sicker and is you not able to work and you're giving them more money for a worse life situation.
Right. And I'm on 100 pills. I got to remember to take 100 pills every day. I'm stuffing my mouth with chemicals that I don't even know what they're doing to my body.
Right.
I'm experiencing all these different things that they're telling me is for my
Mm-hmm.
diabetes. But then when I stop taking them, all of those things cleared up.
Right.
I'll even throw this woman in there because they talk about diabetes and erectile dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna be like that with that Frank Thomas did in that commercial, but those problems are long gone.
Exactly.
Okay. And so it's like, yo, y'all stopped a lot. I mean, my first marriage ended partly because of that. What their drugs was doing in that area.
Of
You know?
course.
So
But the thing is, you didn't know.
didn't know.
You didn't know and they didn't tell you. So actually, I mean, this is a problem. If you've got a drug, right? And this happens with many of these high blood pressure medications and these diabetic medications.
Mm-hmm.
They literally say on drugs.com when you go to the side effects of each of these, they tell you erectile dysfunction as a
Right.
side effect. Now,
But then
if you
your
don't
doctor
know
will
that,
tell you it's your diabetes.
yes. So if you don't know that, your wife now thinks that you're not attracted to her when she's ready to get some action and you can't do nothing. And there's nothing more embarrassing for a man when you can't do the
Yeah.
thing that you know that comes
Especially for your
naturally.
wife. When she,
Exactly, for your
if
wife.
it's a random shit, that's one thing.
Exactly. So now you're living with a woman who's actually kind of looking at you like you're not a full man. And then you feeling that pressure, right? And then every time there's intimacy, you might even try to avoid it because you don't want to go through
Which was
maybe
what
it's
was
not
happening.
working.
If I had this olive leaf extract and I had, bro, if I was operating like this back then, I should be married. I have
See,
3 or 4 more kids.
but this is what I'm saying. Look at how it affected your life. Who's going to pay for that?
Right.
This is the point is that there's really some legal problems because you have a loss of consortium. That's a legal term when you lose a relationship based on something. So, for instance, let's say you were at work and I don't know, you fell because there was some negligence at your job and it affected your groin where you fell, you got an injury. and it made you not able to have children or have an erection. Now you lost your wife because it ruined your marriage. That's loss of that. You can actually have a claim of like that loss of that relationship, or your
Mm.
wife could actually sue for loss of consortium because she's lost the value of the relationship based on you having that injury. But what happens when you have a medical side effect injury from
Mm.
pharmaceuticals? Shouldn't you have a claim based on that? Because if they would have told you that this is going to cause erectile dysfunction, then maybe you wouldn't have taken it, but you weren't even given the choice to even know that. You see what I'm saying? This is the problem. And when you start talking about, you start looking back at your life, damn, I lost a wife. I could have more children. You start realizing that all of these problems have a cascade effect in terms of economics, human relationships, and just your basic outlook on life. Your
Mm.
basic outlook on life, when you start losing your wife, when you start losing a job, when you're fatigued all the time,
Mm.
the quality of life is affected in so many different ways from
Right.
emotionally, spiritually, physically, economically, all because they want to sell you drugs
And make money.
and make money. All because of that. Who gives a damn about your family life? Who gives a damn if you get erectile dysfunction? Who gives a damn if you get kidney failure? Who gives a damn if you.
And then they sell you the Viagra, the
Yes.
Cialis, which cost
Yes.
$1,000 a pill.
Right. So now all of your
To do
labor.
what you naturally was doing.
Right. So now all your labor hours are spent paying for your medications that don't work and cause bigger problems. See how this cascades into these problems? This is why it's important. That's why I'm saying that you're going to become a very important voice, bro. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I feel like you have the personality to be able to be that voice, at least for people in your community, because and the people that you know, because you're going to be able to tell them 13 years of torture.
Mm.
That's what you went through.
Yeah.
13 years of unnecessary physical torture because no one explained to you that diabetes is actually just insulin resistance. And all you needed was a herb that reverses insulin resistance
Why didn't even
and
get that name?
inflammation.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
Stop saying you're gonna die.
Right. It doesn't explain the situation.
This
It
you
doesn't,
gonna die.
it doesn't
That's probably
explain
why
the
they called it
situation.
that.
It should have just told you you had insulin resistance. So,
Mm.
man, I'm so happy. Um, we're definitely on the same page. We definitely from the same tribe in terms of our skepticism of the system. You've just been given the ammunition to understand the health aspect of
Mm-hmm.
the skepticism now, because as you talked about people activity, all of their fuckery goes into all aspects of human
Right.
activity, and health is one of
Everything.
them. And we see how it shows up in the realm of health, where they basically try to rob you of your health and then rob you of your economics.
Which is so evil if you think about
It is.
it. And then you see that the guy shot the healthcare CEO and everybody's happy. And they so surprised. Why is everybody so happy that they killed the guy? They never more happy in their life. Somebody shot somebody and they killed
Yeah, I mean, there's some real issues happening, man, and people start
him.
taking things into their own hands. And there's gonna be a lot of reckoning when people
Mm-hmm. With
start finding out the truth, man.
finding out
Because
that.
because let me tell you, when I do my lectures, a lot of people leave very angry and crying.
Yo, I was he you see the red, black, and green. When I and my experience in incarceration, when you realize that they do it on purpose, that
It's
they
on
just
purpose.
telling you, and then when you didn't say the part about how they research, how many of us did we sell that lisinopril to?
Right,
And we from Davita. How many
right,
how many people got that over there so we can move in and cash in on them once the drug takes effect? When
right.
the
So,
drug is really a poison. So
yep,
once the poison takes its effect, we're there to mask those symptoms
exactly. So
or
just to
price.
give some light as we start to close out, I'm gonna give some light
Yeah.
to what the brother's saying is, you see, lisinopril, side effects of lisinopril is listed is that it will cause acute renal failure. And what it does, increases, you get increased blood creatinine levels. And so blood creatinine levels is associated with the function of the kidneys. So the less your kidneys function, the higher your creatinine levels will be. And what they tell you very, very clearly with lisinopril is they tell you that 10% of the people who take lisinopril will have acute renal failure as seen through increased blood creatinine levels. And so what they do now is they find out in the zip code how many people are prescribed lisinopril by calling up Walgreens, CVS, all these places. And let's just say it's 100,000. Well, they know that 10% of the people will suffer this problem of renal failure. And what will happen is that now they have a number of people who need dialysis, right? So now if it's 100,000 people taking lisinopril in a zip code, they can pretty much guess that 10% of them, which is 10,000 people, will need their services. And I'm just going to share this real quick for people to see. And this is with so many other drugs, but I just like to choose the most popular drugs so that people could see. So you'll see right here, lisinopril side effects, drugs.com. And when you go down to where they say for healthcare professionals, so this is for your doctors and your nurses. So they're supposed to look at this. And go to the renal, which is your kidneys, common. 1 to 10% creatinine levels increase, 10% right there. So what they're saying is that 10% of the people who take lisinopril will have increased creatinine levels, and increased creatinine levels means that your kidneys are not functioning. So this is how they know how many dialysis clinics, because they know that once your creatinine levels increase, that means that your kidneys are decreasing in terms of their function. Because creatinine is waste that your kidneys are supposed to clear out of your body. So if it increases in 10% of the people who take this, and it's common, they now have a number in which they can plan their business and say, we need these many dialysis clinics in this zip code because we know that we got 10% of the people taking this particular drug is going to have renal failure. So this is how it works. And we can do it with so many different types of drugs. But once people catch on to this, people can now help themselves. And so this is the job that we're doing, man. And unbeknownst to you, you're going to have a role in this because you went through this, man, for 13 hard years. You went through this with going through a coma, with having bleeding ulcers on your toe, on your feet, with being threatened with amputation, with being so exhausted you can't, with losing a marriage because of the side effects of the medication. You went through and you left all of this out. You never even talked about it, but there's gonna be a time where you're gonna be able, where you're gonna talk. And you're gonna talk about it all. For real. Next time I come to New York, I'm gonna let you know. You're gonna come, I'm gonna give you good 20 minutes to just talk and talk about everything so that people can understand what this is. This is more than just diabetes. This is about income loss. This is about relationships being lost, marriages being lost, children not being born. This is about losing jobs. This is about your earning potential being affected. It's much more than just diabetes.
Right. Now I do have to tell you, my iPad is at 5%.
All right, no, so we
but
can,
I appreciate it though. I
man, we can. Yeah, man. So what I want to do is that we can circle back in a couple months, check up on you, man. We can chop it up some more. You know, I think that people are gonna really appreciate this interview and the way you articulate, man, because you're just a regular brother talking about things that people's going through, man.
And with the numbers.
Yep, with the numbers, man. So, brother Ibrahim, I'm going to let you close out with the last words. If someone has diabetes, high blood pressure, any of these things that you went through, what would be your advice for them?
First thing is stop taking all your medications from the doctors. I think that's the number one thing. I think if you just see the effects of that will probably give you more confidence in going and getting the olive leaf extract. I would do both at the same time because that's what I did. Because the same day I threw them out, I didn't leave myself hanging.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying? You
have
something to replace it that doesn't cause the side effect.
You know what I'm saying? So now and then that's when I really saw the healing. So, but like first things first, before you, because if you get that and you study medications, I don't think you're going to find any success because it was in the elimination before that kicked in that showed me, So it showed me personally for myself that like you listed on the lisinopril, the one after that was dizziness, 19%. I experienced that on lisinopril. And I was wondering why was I be walking and I'm all of a sudden, I'm off all those drugs, all those things that I used to experience that they told me was because of diabetes, I didn't experience. And now that I'm on the arbor extract only, I can't even remember how it feels to experience those things. So that's what I would say first and foremost. I would say personally, if you're going to be like me, I would go hard because diabetes goes hard in our bodies. I would get this. Number one, it was only $40. Okay, we talk about something that reversed my diabetes for $40. That's number one. Then number two, like he's also talking about, she got to share the information. We got to let people know, like, I cannot keep the fact that my diabetes went from 13.4 to 6.4, and it was because of this. I can't keep that hidden. Knowing how many people are going through the pain of diabetes. Like I went through the pain of erectile dysfunction. A lot of dudes, especially black dudes, don't talk about that. It led me to do a lot of crazy things. The primary message I have for everybody suffering from those chronic diseases is to just be open-minded to a different way. We talked earlier about how they implanted fear in us so deep, and it's that fear that keeps us listening to them. And I just thank God for your presentation being so thorough. And really, had it not been as thorough as it was, it wouldn't have caused me to be so radical. I mean, it takes a lot to be on something for 13 years and then to stop it cold turkey. You know, I couldn't really tell my family, oh, yeah, I'm not taking insulin no more. I'm not taking metformin no more. That would have caused all kind of, so I had to kind of do it in silence. And that's what I also encourage, I've been, reading more books about the fact that you got to sometimes win in silence. And so that's one of the biggest things you're probably going to do. Because if you tell anybody who's still in fear of the medical system, they're going to say you're crazy. Don't ever do that. And if I had listened to that or gone that route, I would not be at a 6.4 when I was living. You get what I'm saying? I was living at 13.4 A1C. I was living with 400 blood sugar like it was nothing. Like it was just that's my normal sugar, 400, 300. If I get a reading below 200, it's like, whoa. Now I don't even have, I have yet to test myself and be outside of the normal range, which essentially means that my diabetes is reversed. So if we have something that's powerful to really reverse a disease that the government and everybody tells us is so chronic, and you're on metformin and insulin for the rest of your life, and it's not true, then we have a duty and responsibility to get the truth out. Even Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And this is the age of awakening. People are awakening to a lot of stuff. And this is probably the greatest discovery of my life, to be able to reverse a chronic disease I was suffering from for 13 years, that the doctor system had thoroughly tested me and gone all in my body, blood samples, blood tests, and had no answers. And man, you didn't do nothing surgical with me. You didn't even diagnose me. You didn't even ask me no questions about my health. You said, hey, I did the research. This is what causes this stuff. This stuff I made myself is going to do X, Y, Z. It came to me and did exactly what you said. So number one, you're a man of your word. Number two, the product speaks for itself in the numbers we showed earlier. So number three, it's only left up to the person, the individual watching this, to be like, yo, either you believe it, somebody that's not capping, somebody that showed you numbers, somebody that showed you the entire transaction of how I even got to it. I don't know this man. We don't have no connection. We have a lot of connections spiritually, but none before this situation. So I have no reason to lie on behalf of him. He's not paying me anything. In fact, I'm paying him. I'm the one buying his product. And I'm the one who came to him and begged him to make me do this testimonial, because I need to talk to people like me, who was, like you said, I'm so revolutionary and they still got me. So I feel like I'm in a special place, like you said. And I didn't even think about it that way. And I appreciate you even bringing that up, of not my expertise with diabetes. Number one, because it affected me, I did so much research in their world about it. And then now, getting the knowledge that you have and the ability to do research, it's not the drugs, it's the studies you talk about. We can literally read studies and be just as knowledgeable as a doctor who's supposed to read the studies for his job. And they don't. Because then they would know that metformin side effects is death. They would know that all the stuff, the infected, all the stuff they were saying down around COVID. Now we know that COVID was BS. Propaganda in the worst way. Having us taking a vaccine, we don't know what's in that. We don't know what is going to do to us in the next. They don't care because Pfizer, the criminal organization, got the contract and they already paid. So we got to take it seriously. That's really what I'm saying. At the end of the day, we got to take it as seriously as they taking it because they taking it so seriously they wouldn't have let people die behind.
Yep. And that's exactly what when you said, about COVID, a lot of people don't realize that it didn't have to reach the level that it reached if people were taught how to reverse it at home before it got so bad that your lungs were coagulated with, um, with mucus. It's an
And I go through
RNA.
that too for a week.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and that's real. It's like it was known very early what to do, but it was never taught to people. No vitamin D, no zinc ionophores. They malign hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, which actually works. Like no one can tell me that it doesn't. Olive leaf extract were used for COVID. It never had to reach the level of people dying in hospitals not being able to see their families. It never had to reach that level, but they let it reach that level so they can push a vaccine on people.
Right.
So this is real when you start to understand
I
these
mean, sit with that. I mean, that's just a revolutionary thought. But you said it so casually.
yeah.
They literally got a contract. The Pfizer will make billions and billions. My uncle died allegedly of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
DJK Slade went to his funeral, died of
Yeah.
quote unquote COVID. Look how many people that
Yeah.
come on.
So they're willing to, so what they showed you is that they're willing to let people die and keep
Basically,
people ignorant of how to help themselves so that they can push a product on you. And that's what it was all about. And guess what? That's just an extrapolation of what you went through with diabetes. It just kills you slower. But they were willing for you to die and keeping you ignorant on how to reverse it so that they can push products on you that don't really work. And that's
can I
what
share
happened.
one
And this
little?
is a story. So the story of COVID
Yeah,
becomes a metaphor for all illnesses that are
right.
presented to the pharmacological medical industrial complex, which means that you get a problem. There's already research showing how you can reverse it on the own government website. It tells you how to reverse coronaviruses with zinc ionophores, like chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, and also zinc to stop the replication of the virus. It also tells you that vitamin D was necessary to boost the immune system. This is all stuff that you can get for cents on the dollar to reverse this problem, but they kept it away from people. But instead, on the news, what did they do? They promoted fear. Remember the CNN? When you go to CNN, they had the count of how many
Right.
people died since
Oh,
COVID
yeah,
started. So it'd be like,
constantly.
you would see the numbers ramping up, and so you're watching, you're like, oh, I might be the next one. So then the fear kicks in, and then no more logic kicks in your mind, no more pursuit of information kicks in your mind. You're looking for a savior, and that's what happened in your situation. Oh, you're gonna die if you don't listen to us. We need to cut off your foot. We need to do this. If you don't take this, you're going to die. And so that fear gets inside of you, and you don't even have the presence of mind to do the research to see if what they're saying is actually true, even though something inside of you is telling you something ain't right. These people, I can't trust them. But once they put fear in, it becomes the antidote for you not trusting them. So
Mm.
the whole thing with COVID, and I hope people are paying attention. And I know we want to wrap this up, but the whole thing with COVID is a metaphor for all chronic diseases, whether it comes to cancer, whether it comes to diabetes, high blood pressure. It's known how to solve the problem, but it's kept away from the general public to the point where people are completely ignorant. And then you put all your trust in so-called the experts. And what you find out later is they're really just trying to push a product on you that doesn't even work. And that's what happened with the COVID jabs. That's what happened with metformin in you. That's what happened with insulin in you. And it's actually not only does it not really work, it does not even have a net positive effect in the sense that there's more negatives than positives associated with taking it. So, I mean, you lived it and you know it. You know the story. you're a living testament of story. Your story is not something that you had to study. It's not something you had to read. You lived 13 painful years of dealing with it, going through comas, going through having to have a piece of your toe amputated, going through sleeping when you don't want to sleep, being completely exhausted, urinating 15 times in 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Facts. All of that
Not
was
being able to get
regular
in it.
life, bro.
Yes.
Like you gotta, I want people to understand that was like, and there's people that living with diabetes. That's why I talk about the homeless people, because there's people that are living with that 15 times an hour peeing right now, and they're like, "Yo, I don't know what." Because do you know how painful that is? Like, it is painful to have to go to the bathroom all the gosh darn time when you're on the train, when
And
you're
people
in
don't
the middle.
realize it too. This is the thing is that, people suffer in silence. I went through this because I was pre-diabetic. People don't
Right?
realize, listen, when you've got this diabetes thing and you need to urinate, it feels like it feels like the most urgent urination that you
Of
ever
all
have to
time,
have. Like,
every
and
time.
it's every time. And it's like within an hour, you might be urinating like five, six. I mean, 15 is a bit of an exaggeration,
No,
but
I've
like
been
within an
there. I've been
hour, you're doing
there
maybe five urination, three, four, five within an hour. And you're like,
for
and when you got to go,
2 minutes
it's like the
each.
most urgent urination you got to do. And you're trying to figure out what's going on here. So
Crazy.
imagine you're on a train and it's like the most urgent urination you got to do, but you're on a train. You know how painful that is? People don't understand
You don't
that.
understand.
People
Like you said
just
about
don't
the
understand.
fatigue.
And there are times where you're just like, you know what? You got to make a decision. Am I just going to urinate on myself and embarrass myself?
Nope.
That's
I mean,
literally what
you got to make a
you got to
choice.
actually
You
think
got to
about
say,
that.
okay, am I gonna pee on myself, or am I gonna go in a, a lot of times in New York City, you'll see the elevators
Right.
with kids off. That's probably what happened. They got diabetes, so but they can't control it.
Yeah.
They got to go. It could be a
Yeah.
regular person did that.
Yep.
But like, look, nothing I can do. If you ever
Exactly.
felt that pressing, and then you praying for like 2 minutes, it's like, where did this water come from? It's so painful. You just gotta stand there and just deal with it. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, yo, it's like you're going through it, and that's what even drives you more to the medications, because you're like, yo, I need something to stop this.
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine you're on a train or you're on an airplane and the
Right.
bathrooms are full.
Full.
You've got to wait, but it's the most urgent urination that you've ever had, and it's happened to you three times in an hour, and you
Right.
don't know what's going on. This is, people don't understand the inconvenience of being sick. Like one of these times, I might have to do a video on like the what it really means logistically to be sick, because a lot of
Right.
people don't realize that. And in this thing that we're talking about diabetes, because I lived it, people don't realize like what an inconvenience it is to have to urinate all
And
the
planning
time.
your day around
Yeah.
having to urinate. Like you
Yeah.
gotta literally plan your day out. Like, I gotta be close to some kind of bathroom at all times.
Exactly.
And then don't
Exactly.
be homeless with that. Oh no.
Right. And then
Now
you
you
get
now you're
then you
interested
get
in police.
arrested for urinating in a
There
public
you
place.
go. But
And
how
then
can you
that
control it if you know what diabetes is?
yes,
If you know
exactly.
what diabetes is and the urination, if you're homeless and you don't have a bathroom of your own, why are we locking them up? And then they're in jail, going to the bathroom all day in jail.
It's absolutely insane, man. But these are things that a lot of people don't realize, man. Like this is eye-opening for a lot of people who've never had to deal with this. They don't even know what it means for someone to be diabetic and what it really means to be weak. And it's not like, and then sometimes you'll get these strong headaches and your vision gets blurred. And I mean, it's a whole bunch of things that go along. For me, I used to brush my teeth and my whole gums would just bleed, like someone punched me in the mouth,
Yeah, me too.
because what happens is that you have all this inflammation. And so right when you start to brush, the inflammation gets aggravated and blood starts to come out. And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know these things. They just
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
I actually lost my tooth due to diabetes. I just have
Yeah.
like a look. Why? Because it rotted out the system,
Yeah, the
which it didn't
inflammation.
have to do.
Yeah.
Then they had to do a root canal.
Yep. This is real. This is real. So none of this is made up, y'all. And what we're gonna do
I'm
is,
pulling out my tooth on you.
yeah,
How can I be more real?
real talk. So my brother Ibrahim, man, thank you so much.
Yes,
I
sir.
think that
And
you
here it is
have.
right here. I'm not even capping. I just made my solution. It's bitter as ever, but this is super juice. I'm telling you, I drink it with no problem.
That's the olive
And
leaf with the water.
olive leaf with the sometimes I go a little OD with the olive leaf.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so brown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need it. And I'm telling you, even like you, I love how you explained the concept of the bitterness because I saw how that affected me, and I think that's what led to the mental benefits of this. Because this had a lot of mental, like I think about the different music. I just got real spiritual. Look, I've been going my whole day without watching TV. That's unheard of for me. You know, but it's just like different stuff like that is happening once your body is clear, like I said, the parasites.
Yep.
Then
And
you
your
start to
mind is
really
clear.
perform on a level that you're not even used to.
Absolutely. So my brother, thank you. And we'll do
Thank you. God
we'll do
bless
a
you.
part 2, man.
Anytime.
All right. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor meeting you. I'm
Likewise.
glad that I could add some value into your life, and I know that you'll be passing it on and adding value into other people's lives who are willing to listen. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother.
All right. Peace.
Peace.